Go ahead, Greg.
Homer Dan. Oh, do I delight. Do I delight in this. The number of times you have called me a homer over the years. Never again. The next time you call me a homer, and it will slip, I want them to cue up the video of you in a cheerleader outfit holding a drum, literally cheerleading for the Florida Panthers. Where's your pom-pom today? Where's your skirt?
Pom-poms.
No, it's pom-pom.
There are cheerleaders that don't wear skirts.
I know.
Is it pom-poms?
Yeah.
Welcome to the 90s.
It's pom-poms?
Yeah. No, it's pom-poms, I thought.
I thought it was pom-pom.
It's P-O-M-P-O-N. I could be wrong.
Here we go.
I could be wrong.
I've always thought it was pom-poms.
This is quite literally the first time in my 40 years that I've heard pom-poms.
Okay, look it up.
Okay, well, thanks.
Okay, hang on. Wikipedia, pom-pom, also spelled pom-pon. Wow. It's an either-or situation.
This is crazy.
I can't believe everyone was right.
Is that where pompano comes from, Greg?
I'm not sure, but it's a good question by you. I've never thought of that.
It's really not a good question.
Like Boca Raton.
It's almost the worst question.
Boca right on.
Asked.
Yeah.
That's what we used to say when I went to FAU. Boca right on.
And
Rat's mouth.
And you know it.
And you do know it. And you know it. But anyway, getting back to you as a cheerleader, there have been positive reviews. I was looking at Variety, the trade magazine today, and I think the headline was something like, Le Batard takes Boffo turn at cat's skin or something like that. You know, those Variety headlines are always weird. But, you beat the drum pretty well, I thought. A little fast on the pace. At one point, it looked like you were about to faint. I would have paid to see that. But, overall, it's something you got to eat now. It's something you got to live with. You wear it on your shoulders. You're like an ox with a big yoke now. You got the yoke of having been a Panthers cheerleader on your shoulders. It's invisible. You feel it, and the rest of us see it. That's it.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking. Yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Please welcome First Generation Cuban, by native radio podcast and TV host, Dan Le Batard.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I'm going to break news. I don't think I hope you don't mind me revealing this, but this is just the beginning of a Le Batard cheerleader tour of South Florida. This coming football season, old Doll fans remember Dolphin Danny. He's going to be beating a drum on the sideline at Dolphin games. He's going to take a turn as a Heat dancer. He's going to wear the Miami Marlins fish head. He's just, this is a new lane for Dan, and I think, he's going all in. I got to give him that. He's cheerleader Dan, and it's just something we got to get used to.
I did look at the Heat schedule and saw that Hispanic Heritage Night is this week, and they're giving away bucket hats. And the thought did go through my mind. Will Cuban-American, some say Cuban-born, Dan Le Batard be there for Hispanic Heritage Night for the Heat, giving away bucket hats?
That's a good question. I think so.
I don't enjoy what you're presently doing. Dolphin Denny is presently on the screen. If you have never seen him,
Dolphin Danny.
He's really insulting me by calling me Dolphin Danny.
I was picturing the other guy that's known. He wears more of like the full uniform, the shoulder pads. That's what I was imagining.
Yama Yama Man?
Maybe.
No, that's Yama Yama is the University of Miami.
The guy with pom-poms on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a mustache and a hard hat with a dolphin in it. What's his name? He had a regular name.
When Dan said Dolphin Denny, I was like, oh, that's the guy they're going to put up. That's for sure. I had never seen that guy in the orange before.
Well, that's old school Dolphins right there. That's pathetic, though. Put that back up again so people can see. Like, this is one of the worst mascots in the history of mascotting, but beloved for a time in South Florida because he was leathery, he was sunburnt, and he was enthusiastic, and he was a good mascot for the team. But
That's him?
But
That's actually him?
He was ridiculous.
That's Mike Ditka.
Because that looks like a Donald Trump Photoshop.
He was a ridiculous person. No. And
He was a legend.
I feel like everyone looked like Mike Ditka in the 90s.
God rest his soul.
put it
Is
on
he
the
still
poll.
with us?
Put it on the poll. Yeah,
he passed away years ago.
Ditka's still with us.
Dolphin
Yeah,
Denny.
no, I meant Dolphin Danny. I mean Denny. Superimpose Dan's face
He looks like
under that hat.
He looks like Cowboy Bob Orton there.
We also had Find Yama Yama, please, if you want to go through ridiculous mascots in South Florida history. Yama Yama Man. Mike, are you even too young to remember Yama Yama at the University of Miami?
I don't think I get the reference, Yama Yama.
Okay,
Man.
we'll put him up in a second.
I do know the other guy that you guys were talking about with the pompons and the dolphin on the hat and the mustache. Everybody did look like Mike Ditka in the 90s.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did everyone look like Mike Ditka in the 90s?
I regret to inform you that the chat is calling you the not-so-little drummer boy.
You didn't regret to inform me that. You delighted in informing me of that.
Also, Ham Reinhart.
Wow. That's not bad.
Also, Sergei Slabrovsky.
I do have some notes. As a season ticket holder, that's right, look at me, Louie, I see a lot of these drummers. I feel like I can critique this better than most. And you were awkward before and after, but your drumming was great. I really got to say. The drumming itself, the rhythm, the pace
One hand clapping.
was fine.
The chat says it was a good job, surprisingly good from Matthew Kachunk.
I mean, your smile beforehand, the wave to the crowd, the thrusting of the arms afterwards, awkward. But that's you, man. You're awkward.
Aaron Ekblob?
By the way, happy Fat Tuesday. But seriously, that's all I got. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Greg, you got the room rolling. You can't keep going. You got to stop and go. That's all I got. I got that one joke. You got, yes, happy Fat Tuesday, and then you just throw the show right back to me.
Breathe.
Also, you should try breathing during the drumming. My dad's right. Your face was super red.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah. And a little fast. Didn't you think he
No,
was just
A
touch
little. I
fast?
think it's hard with the live crowd to figure that out exactly right.
You want to be a little ahead of the crowd, and that part he nailed. I'm telling you.
You know what I would have paid to see? Remember a few weeks ago on the golf course, you had me hit an exploding golf ball?
Yes.
I would have paid.
An exploding drum.
I would have paid to have an exploding drum where the first time he beat it, the drumstick went right through
Great
it
gag.
because it was made out of like paper tissue.
That would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah.
He probably would have injured his arm. Totally worth it.
If I may just echo Chris's sentiment, I was really worried about this. I thought you were going to embarrass yourself, maybe drop the stick. just
Embarrass us.
Be socially awkward and totally botch the cadence of it. I am so proud of you. This is a top 3 drummer that the Panthers have ever brought in. Yes, you were a little fast, but you almost have to be because you're in an arena and the chants lag a little bit. You were great. The energy that you brought to it was phenomenal. And the hockey chat blew up. You did a really good job. And most importantly, I faded the Panthers when I learned that you were doing the drum because I thought this is going to be a disaster. You knocked it out the park, and the Panthers won a great game. You might be invited back. You're in the Pantheon now.
They told me, well, I'll get to some of the stories from last
I
night.
definitely heard someone's phone
I
go
didn't.
off.
That's your phone, Greg?
No, my phone's off.
His phone's off.
That's a fine.
Was that coming from your iPad?
His phone's on. I can see it from
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
shoot.
Like, come on, man.
Is that Greg's phone?
No, I
Come on,
showed
man.
it.
Lie unraveled.
Come on,
I'm
Greg.
turning it off right
No,
now.
now you got to pay the fine.
I will pay the fine.
You got to pay the fine. You now know how to do it.
Yeah, Dolphin Danny.
I regret to inform you that they're now calling you, what was it, Mike? Eric Ekflab?
Yeah, Aaron
Nailed it.
Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing that you got Mike's hockey group chat's approval, Dan? Like, that includes Ethan out there.
Ryan Lomberger.
All right, please.
It's not good.
Please, I implore you, because I have not checked in on any of this, because it was a delightfully silly night, but I do feel totally compromised in a way that makes Greg Cody's criticisms be totally fair. I've given, I don't know how you guys felt yesterday about having Ron McGill's son, around, because we have tasked him with trying to put together quickly, because we have some problems with nimble around here, quickly, in 24 hours, something that celebrates or looks at last night in a way that is actually showing where it is that I'm compromised in the places that journalism has changed, where I look like a fool up there doing that, but also Chris and Roy and Billy and Mike and Jessica are like, Jessica, I don't know. Jessica understands the journalism of this, so she's like, well, you haven't been a journalist in a while. Go do that thing. But that would have embarrassed me at one point in my life, and it wouldn't have been very long ago. When you say I haven't written anything in 6 years, I've written the foreword to 2 books. 2 very popular books, but I've sold my soul to this thing, clearly.
That's not journalism. Not at all. Is Stephen King a journalist?
Yeah. Where's the jersey? What'd you do with the jersey? Why aren't you wearing it today?
Yeah, you should be.
Well, that's the only time in my life I've ever worn a jersey.
You look good in it.
I'm so happy that you showed up on time. How early in that game did you leave?
Yeah. Did he make it to the second period? That's the
Did
over
you see
under.
that third period was electric?
Over under is second period.
No, listen. So I insisted that my wife, who has not been to that height, like, keep in mind, I'm going to that game, okay? I've been there 5 or 6 times over the last few years, but I'm going to that game with my wife to show like a new fan, no, you're really going to love this. Wait till you see what it feels like when the Panthers score a goal. Okay, so I wasn't going to leave. Barkov scores 2 last night. It was a great game. It's top of the food chain, and again, you push Tampa Bay's face in it, where you're like, no, we've passed you, and your goalie's great, and our goalie's better, and at the end of the game, 0.7 of a second left, they're hitting the post on a shot that should have been in. It should have gone in. It would have, like, it's fun to watch those teams play hockey.
Right, but you caught that on TV because you were no longer there.
I left after the first goal. We heard the
What? So he made it to the second
Fake
period.
fan.
So the overhit. The
Fake
overhit.
fan.
Why?
Why? It was a.
What do you
Why
mean?
would you leave early?
Yeah, enjoy a night out.
It's an honor.
guy.
It's an open bar in that Panther bar.
Yeah, who got the tickets? We didn't even talk about the
Yeah.
tickets.
Okay,
I've had a
we
ticket.
can get to the details in a second, but Ron McGill's kid is going to produce something for us that tackles some of the conundrum in this. But
He works hard.
I'm fine with you continuing to go down the path of questioning how stupid all of this is. Look at this. This is the most unflattering photo I've ever taken, and I've taken a few. Like, go ahead and close up on that.
You are selling yourself short. You've taken way worse photos. That's actually, that counts as a good one these days.
They're calling you Carter Verhangry.
I thought the most awkward part for you was the wave to the crowd beforehand. You had these eyes on you, that,
Yeah.
like you were looking at like a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
What's the deal with the McGills? There's Ron and Rhonda, which is basically the same name, and then they name their child Sean, which is the same as Ron with an S.
It's Rita.
It's Rita.
Oh, Rita. Okay, never mind.
Her name
If it was Rhonda, that would be wild.
I thought it was Rhonda, so I didn't understand.
Beach Boys song, Help Me Rita.
That's right.
Help me, Rita. Help.
Greg's right about that.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, stumbling.
Hit the road, Jess.
You can't call Rita Rhonda.
I call her Mrs. McGill because
As-
I'm respectful.
as the centerpiece of your joke that falls apart as soon as her name's not Rita. But
Don't worry. He's going to get one wrong in like a couple minutes. He'll get him back.
So, Greg, are you disappointed because he gave away his journalistic integrity and then only stayed for a period? Is that it's like you didn't even get the full game out of it,
Right.
Dan?
Yeah, like he exposed himself as a cheerleader and then proved to be a bad one by not even staying for the entire game. If you're going to go all in, go all in, right? Like nobody who's ever banged that drum, not even Jack Nicklaus, has dared leave before the game was over.
I don't
Not
think
only-
you know that.
Yeah, well, I have it on good authority.
It's the first time I've seen one leave early.
Yeah.
I've been in the Panther bar with such luminaries before, and they're always there in their jersey, proud to be there and rep the team and see the victory through.
Oh, look, listen, just so everybody knows here, and like all the secret pockets that Miami has in cool places, the Miami Heat were trendsetters in a club town of like putting lounges in their facility. What the Panthers have in their speakeasy for 30 people is the best thing I've ever seen in South Florida in terms of having taste and class. I have never seen anything like that. We've thrown live in nightclubs and stuff, but we've not done something like that. Like South Florida does not have that kind of class in its sports arenas. So when they honor you, they do it correctly. Like we'll make fun of this today and we'll make fun of me, but it is a pleasure to see how it is that those people turned into champions. Like that has been. So I'm taking my wife. This is 30 years. We covered the first game of this team together. To see it as a champion that's organized is something that's disorienting. Like to see them run correctly by management, have class, to be able to do things correctly, make the right trades. It's disorienting to go out to a swamp in the Everglades, okay? Because it's impossible how much. If Canada saw where this place was. You think Messi's funny playing in a dumpster in Fort Lauderdale? Like,
I mean, it's only a couple years old.
No, but I'm saying you think that's funny. The idea that this exists here, like if Canada knew that it's called sawgrass because that's how airboats travel through there. Like that is so far out west that my childhood has no recollection of anything being there other than dangerous. A champion lives there.
Yeah, I mean, look out the back of the Edmonton Arena, too. Ain't much to write home about there either.
I'm just saying what this thing has built that has competence after 30 years. Like, yeah, there was something to being able to share with my wife the sound of a first goal. And also, we left soon thereafter.
Get out of here.
I will say the Panthers and other things have shown me, but the Panthers are a great local example of what instituting a culture means, provided that culture is positive. Having worked for the previous ownership group, and I know I was there throughout a lockout and whatnot, but a night and day difference between cultures. I mean, the ownership group has West Point ties. It's pretty regimented. They have done everything first class and well, and it's trickled down to the front office and onto the ice, and they're reigning champions.
And they've also been very smart as a franchise to align themselves with Fort Lauderdale, to build their whole training facility there, to align with a bigger city because, let's face it, they would rather be playing in downtown Fort Lauderdale than in Sunrise, but as it is, it's sort of the best of both. They are Broward's team proudly, and I think the last 4 or 5 years, they've been as good as any team in hockey. Bill Zito has had a masterclass in how to build a roster other than an aging goalkeeper that they're going to have to figure out how to replace. But
He was pretty good last night.
I mean, slow down.
He's still great.
Spencer Knight, by the way, looked tremendous in his Blackhawks debut.
But
I was
what's
really happy
Cody
for him.
doing? He's coming out. He's the reigning champion. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing to Bobrovsky?
He was better. He was better than Vasilevsky last night, and that's no small feat.
No, you're right, because Tampa's got, I think, the best goalkeeping in the league, right?
What are you doing to Bobrovsky? Like, why are you retiring
I
him?
agree with my dad. Of all the players they have under contract, he's their best player that's coming up for a new deal semi-soon in like a year or two.
Yeah, he's in his mid-30s now, but it's a
We
time.
also wrote him off like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. That's
Oh, did I
very
hate him
true.
2 years
Yeah.
ago?
Very true.
Then he got hot at the right time.
Barkov,
He
too? The two
led
of
us
you
to
were
Lord
terrible
Stanley.
to Barkov, too.
No, Barkov was terrible to us in that postseason, but now he's an all-time legend of the franchise, probably the franchise's greatest player. Dan, did you have the smoked old fashioned?
I had it as a mezcal, yeah. I didn't.
For my money, the best one in South Florida.
I didn't do that with whiskey. Because whiskey will brown liquor will give me terrible sweats, and I will look worse than than here. But when I'm telling you about class in a place, right, and this is where I can be bought as a cheerleader, but in my history of going to, when the Dolphins open Live because they want to be the cool thing, or the Heat are opening nightclubs in their arena before that's a popular thing to do, to have a speakeasy that is that private for 30 people where you're transported into the past. I invited Cody to come with me last night. He declined. For all the mocking he's doing of me only lasting 2 periods, he declined the VIP tickets of this experience. I offered it to him. He can't be bothered even though it's just a few feet from his house. The people here in Dade will not make it out there. Michael go there sometimes, but that's a Broward. Like, the people will not travel from here to there. The folks from Meadowlark who showed up last night are people who live in Broward. It's too much of a hike for people in Dade. It's 3 hours.
And it's closer than Stugotz's house. Everyone always is like, oh, I can't do that. It's like Stugotz does it a lot.
Very convenient to my house.
Not that often.
fair.
I know what you're trying to do. Well, the Lakers probably deserve credit for inventing clubs in arenas, but anybody can really gain access to hide these days at the American Airlines Arena. What you had is for VIPs only.
I was going to say, I've never been in the speakeasy.
You gotta know somebody or be somebody to get in there.
So this is what you're walking into, right? Because what I'm saying, it's one thing for a champion to just be a champion, and then you're walking into class. You remember in football when the DeBartolos were running the sport, and it felt like they were a little bit classier than everybody else. Like they did a lot of nice things for their players. They spent an inordinate amount of money, and San Francisco was viewed as winning championships and also doing it with class and having sort of like a mafia crime family feel to.
I think you're just doing an Italian thing.
I'm not, but no, this was
Carmen Policy did look like a boss.
No, thank you. Please, Carmen Policy and DeBartolo, put them up here and tell me if I'm doing Italian mafia or if they were actually mafia. No, go read about DeBartolo's crimes. Okay?
I don't. Policy was with the Browns when they relaunched. I'm well aware.
Okay, go read all of what that was. The Panthers, what I'm walking into in that speakeasy. That's just the class is already there, right? Like I've been treated well at any number of places that I go in South Florida, but in this place I was treated well when they open the door. It's what everybody gets there. And so like we just don't have a lot of places like that in South Florida, and it's a speakeasy because it's hidden.
I do think you're probably reading too much into them treating you like you were the guest of honor. Yeah. Because you were. You were the guest of honor. And I'm just saying, if I'm traveling down from the 300 level, I'm not going to get the same experience.
But we do have the JMO bar.
I love the
simpletons.
JMO.
Do they have giant ice cubes at that bar? Because I'm assuming the speakeasy's got you're having a giant ice cube in your old
I imagine those ice cubes at the speakeasy are like the Panthers logo.
Those ice cubes, I love giant ice cubes.
I do too.
The wine selection at
Everything
that
tastes better with a giant ice cube.
You ask for a Cabernet and they give you something that's older than you. It's crazy.
We got a very different experience where the Panthers said, you guys are welcome to come as well in exchange for $37, and you can sit in the nosebleeds. So it's a very different experience.
Fees.
I
think that it's plus fees.
And parking.
And you can sit up there and you will not look at us directly in the eyes.
And no giant ice cubes.
And
no jerseys.
I hate that's how the messaging got to you guys, because Cynthia and Roy and Kristen were all with us, and it would have been all of us there, but nobody came from here. We would have all been in the speakeasy and had it to ourselves, and we would have just sat there for a while with Sean Thornton, who I met.
Thorty.
I meet Sean Thornton like this.
No, what'd you call him?
No, you'll find this funny. You will find all of this funny knowing what you know about Sean Thornton and his entire career. It's 20 years he played in the league as a fighter. I shake his hand, and it reminded me of like the way the Heat people run a military organization over there. Like Sean is in charge of revenue. Thornton, I'm sorry, yeah.
Thorty, not Horty.
Sean is in charge of revenue over there because he knows how to be a champion and knows how to fight and has some sort of military discipline that keeps him in the league 20 years. And so I shake his hand, and upon shaking it, it was a reflex. I couldn't even help it. I'm like, you look like hockey.
He does.
And he stared straight at me, and he didn't know whether it was a compliment or an insult. And I'm like, it's pretty neutral. You just look like hockey. I think you should be proud of that. I think you were formed by hockey.
But he's put in charge of revenue because he knows how to fight?
No, he's actually like a really bright guy, and he's been in that role for a very long time as they've turned their whole finances around. Yeah, he does look like hockey. That's a good job. I'm wondering how he would absorb that. What do you look like?
Well, this is the thing moment where he was trying to decide whether I was complimenting him or insulting him, and I was neither. It was a reflex. You just look like hockey. He finally said, "Yeah, I've had my nose broken a lot." But it's because he had a square head I would not want to punch.
Yeah, so he took it as an insult. He probably meant it as an insult.
I did not mean it. I did not mean it as an insult. I am impressed by people. The battle scars of hockey are crazy. Mike's sitting here always arguing that the hockey players are tougher than football players.
They are. They're the toughest athletes. What they put their bodies through daily to go out there, their lack of complaints. I think that they are the toughest athletes in sport right now. And it's ingrained in their culture. They stay quiet about it. I mean, Matthew Tkachuk is out 2 months because he dared try to play with something that is, just as hurt today as it was then. It's a crazy sport. They're really tough guys.
By the way, it's crazy that Tkachuk got hurt in the Four Nations tournament, right? I mean, seems like a good argument for having those things not be super competitive so people don't try, so they don't get hurt.
Wasn't the only one. Charlie McAvoy is going to be out for an extended period of time. Like, everyone's kind of upset with the training staff,
Jessica,
actually.
I tried to make that argument to these loons who flew up there to drink beer in Canada last week, and they ran me out of the room telling me how important it is to play for your patriotic country and try your very hardest, even if you lose. You've seen what the top of hockey is. The margins are very small. There are 10 teams as good as the Panthers, and we assume the Panthers will win because we just saw them do it. But hockey is funny that way, and you can get knocked out in the second round because there are a lot of good teams in hockey. I wouldn't want to lose Tkachuk for the second half of the season.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. Country before club.
Totally worth it.
If you close the deal, you didn't. So now, was it worth it? Like, if
Yes.
you win the Four Nations, it's definitely worth it. Now, I think it's a debate.
I think that's one of the more iconic moments in American hockey, going up to Montreal, beating them, and the tone was set by the two brothers fighting inside of 5 seconds of one another. That's like, in terms of marketability, those siblings are going to be in tons of commercials. I think it was a great moment for the sport. Matthew Tkachuk went on the Tonight Show a week later. Yeah, I think it was great for the game. That tournament was great for the game, and the fact that one of our best players got hurt during it, look, it's going to happen. And I'm happy that he went all out for it. As someone that paid hard-earned money to go up there and support the U.S. hockey team, I'm glad that the effort matched the investment.
Yeah, that was a big – the Four Nations was a big part of the NHL just absolutely having a moment now. You've got Ovechkin chasing Gretzky. You just had the Stadium Series game that drew 95,000 people to Ohio Stadium. It's a big time for NHL hockey, for sure. Oh, but I wanted to ask you, Dan – Dolphin Danny.
Transition.
When you were in the Speakeasy, were there any actual stars there other than a former player?
Sean Thornton.
Why didn't you go?
Why didn't I go?
It's 10 minutes from your home, and I gave you 4 hours notice.
But he would have been alone with Sean Thornton for 2 hours after you left.
He wouldn't have been alone. We were there with Cynthia and Roy and.
If my wife, who is a hockey fan, could have made it, I would have possibly gone with her.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. I don't want to leave her alone.
It's Rhonda's fault.
That's rich.
What?
You're leaning on. I didn't want to leave my wife.
I'm a hubby.
Hubby.
Yeah. Hubby. No, I considered going. Would you take it as a personal insult that I didn't go watch you wearing a cheerleader outfit banging a drum? Come on. I saw the video. A little quick on the pace, but as has been said, better that than a little slow. You did the best you could. By the way, are you missing something? Oh, here it is, your integrity. Hang on. Okay.
What is meant to represent my integrity? What did you just pull?
Well, integrity is invisible.
Okay. I thought you actually picked something up and put it there.
You can't see integrity.
It took a physical form to me. I actually saw you put something there.
That was better than Adrien Brody's performance in The Brutalist.
Maybe he could be a movie star. Maybe as well as if I'm there to fall for the joke, hook, line, and sinker. Because I was looking, what's he doing? Is this going to be competent comedy executed? Integrity.
Thank you.
So I would think that you would want to come see that up close, though, so that you could laugh in person, because you and I have been covering sports in this market for 30 years. Jimmy Johnson's retiring here. That was announced yesterday, finally, after they teased us at the Super Bowl, and we wondered about it for a while. And we've seen what sports has become in this town. You and I, aligned journalistically throughout, had a chance to celebrate me at the top of a Champions Den in a speakeasy, and I invited you to the party, and you declined. It's 10 minutes from your house. What were you doing?
Well, it's probably like 20 minutes in fairness, particularly if it's early rush hour on a weekday. What was I doing? I was living my life. I don't trail in the perfume of celebrity. I was living a normal man's life. I was in my backyard getting ready for bulk pickup, which is Thursday. Got a big, beautiful pile out on my swale.
Wow.
I'm doing regular guy things. I'm a man of the people. I always say that. Speakeasy. Had you told me it was a speakeasy with an open bar, I might have gone. But,
I told your wife it was maximum VIP. She couldn't go, so I invited you and your son.
Oh, well, now I'm hearing differing. Could your wife not make it, even if she was invited?
She could not. No, she,
Because I'm with you. If I'm going to a work thing after hours, I'd like to bring Lehman. I don't want to just come by myself.
Well, they were fighting. At one point, Chris and Greg were fighting over the second ticket because I invited Erlene, and I made her make a choice, and she chose Greg, who declined to come.
Well, what happened to Chris? Because he didn't go either way.
Well, I thought Chris was going on his own tickets, and I wasn't sure what was happening there. And I think he gave away his tickets because he thought he was going to get the ticket with Greg.
How is communicating about tickets this
Hold on a
difficult
second.
among like 4 people?
I was traveling back from vacation, so I gave my tickets away before I knew about the Dan stuff. Like last week, I was like, I don't want to go to the game, so I didn't have tickets. And then I heard, oh, there's 2 tickets. Who's going? And then all of a sudden, my dad and my mom were going, and then they weren't. And I got back from vacation.
But yesterday, I heard your father speak into his phone, into his phone, no suite, period.
Yeah.
He texted to you, no suite, and that was you two checking out. Well, if we don't get the VIP treatment, then we're not going. And then I gave you the VIP treatment, and your family was fighting over it, and she chose you to go, and you declined.
And where would, after the speakeasy, once the game starts, where would I have been seated?
You watch
Seats.
the game there from seats. They're good seats.
From the speakeasy?
Yes.
No. Oh. Yeah. Wow, there's seats in the speakeasy. Sorry, I've never been, like I said.
Yes.
Well, there was confusion here because when I left the studio yesterday,
I told your wife, the reason your wife was going and wanted to go is because I told her this will be maximum VIP. Maximum VIP.
Right.
That's what I told your wife. And so she knew, and that's why Chris wanted to go. And this was after you had texted, no suite, period. And now I'm telling you sweet, SWEET. This is the good stuff right here.
Yeah.
And you said, no, thank you. I've got man stuff to do.
Well, had it been a 7:30 or 8 o'clock start, I might have gone. I made a quick call to the Panthers saying, hey, any way you can delay the start of the game by a half hour? They wouldn't do it. They were very uncooperative.
Dan did the same thing.
Yeah.
Why would Greg go to a Panther speakeasy when he was around when we had real speakeasies back in the day?
I remember well. Just after Prohibition, those things bloomed like a flower all over the country.
I don't know if the rest of you are as disoriented to see excellence rise up there. Mike, you worked for them from the beginning, man. You know that there are so many skeletons they're digging up from 30 years of bad management. Like it's hard to explain to the country how to the continent how close this thing was to falling apart because the business of it was handled so poorly. Like
was constantly bandied about as a team that was going to relocate. Probably the worst ownership group in professional major sports down here in South Florida, and that's saying a lot. Night and day difference. Thank God for Vinny Viola and his team. They all have West Point ties over there, and this whole organization top down got regimented and disciplined and had to rebuild and dig themselves out, and not just with the community, but with local businesses too. Michael Yormark had a lot of shady sponsorship deals.
Oh, Yormark.
Gave a lot of added value, set terrible precedent, and it was very difficult for the Florida Panthers to price out sponsorships given what Michael Yormark had given away so flippantly. So from a business standpoint, they even had a tougher road to cross than they did on the ice, and they had plenty of road to cross when it came to the hockey operation side. But yeah, it's a great story, and they've built a young nucleus that should really, for generations, make an impact because they're aiming for their third consecutive Stanley Cup final. They still have a youngish core. They've had guys, which is insane to say because Barkov has been here for a decade, but he's now entering the prime of his career. They have a marketable face in Matthew Tkachuk, an American face. Everything about this franchise continues to point up. It's not a flash in the pan. And the only thing that's unfortunate is where they're located can't really revitalize an area the way that the Arena and the Lightning have revitalized downtown Tampa. If they did that now, if they were having this run in downtown Fort Lauderdale, you would see a real community come together as opposed to just one kind of popping up in the parking lot.
Yes, you're talking about a larger community and how a sport grows in a market that can make it difficult as they do the things that Tampa already did, and it disorients Canada to see Florida dominates hockey. Because this is like what I was watching last night, all of it. Barkov, 2 goals, you could tell you're at the top of the sport. It's a Monday night. And when you mention community, no, those people, that place is sold out and it shakes and it's
crowd was loud. You got them fired up.
Well, that's
You did. That's a big job. Like Game 7 was haunted for the Stanley Cup final. As terrifying of a venue as I have ever walked into, everyone was scared. And then Roberto Luongo goes out there and hypes the crowd up with an epic drum performance, and he kind of could rest a little easy, get into the game a little bit. You set the tone.
Man, did this Luongo thing fire me up. Because I remember being a little skeptical of Luongo doing it.
Roberto Luongo.
I almost broke the drum.
Legendary goaltender for the Florida Panthers and now a special advisor to their general manager.
Man, goosebumps. Bring me back to that night.
Do they give you guys like smelling salts before you do it? Because like you all look kind of insane.
I mean, I'm scared. That doesn't surprise you,
Dan can't have
right?
salt. We have been over this.
So you were nervous before you did this, right?
I told you I didn't want to do it.
Because you thought you were going to, like all of us, you thought that you were going to screw it up somehow.
I was going, yes.
Of course.
No, that's part of it. That's one small part of it. The other part of it that is legitimate for me, man, I turned down 2 Miami Heat parades, okay? And those people are my legitimate friends. Like the organization, I've been around those people for 30 years, and I turned that down because I'm not that far in sensibilities from where Greg resides on this. I deserve whatever mockery he's giving me today because this is the end of my career selling out the morsels of journalism that I used to be.
That was 11 years ago and 12 years ago. You were an actual journalist back then.
Yeah, I could see you turning down the Heat parades. It's good you did that.
It's hot out there.
Disagree. You should have known you were going to sell out and sold out and gotten the cool perks. Now it's just you're banging a drum in a Panthers jersey.
Right.
Well, and you missed the 2 championship parades. You should have known.
He had the smoke mezcal.
Well, that's true.
Billy's
Sean Thornton.
Billy's right, though. Everyone does seem to be jacked up for this. Let's play Jack Nicklaus doing it.
Please welcome 18-time PGA Major winner and golf legend, Jack Nicklaus.
Bringing the energy.
He's normally in a bed, so.
He's playing a xylophone.
It's like he's playing a triangle.
Tap that drum.
He's moving only his wrist.
Tapping it.
It does seem just
It
as
seems
loud.
just as loud. I don't think there's a trick to it.
Okay,
It's all in the wrist.
Okay, so I don't know how I don't know. Maybe we can play it out here. I'd actually like to discuss this with you. I believe all of you would have been more confident than I was doing this. Every one of you.
I don't doubt that. Not at all.
How we played out?
I don't know. I think we should go get a drum in another room and show. I think we should show everybody how, because everyone's going to have their criticisms today.
No, we're the only person criticizing you is
universal
a guy
praise. Honestly,
You're your hardest.
still thinks that you're a journalist.
Your toughest critic here, Dan.
Your face was awkward, but it always is.
Yeah, you looked like you were gonna pass out, but like you were doing strenuous activity for you.
I thought you fainting was a high probability, not.
I thought you were going to trip on your shoelaces. To what Greg said, you did the best job you could, and we're proud of you.
Best he could.
I thought you were gonna start crying, maybe.
Yeah.
That
Was it
would not have
emotional?
surprised me either. You crying.
Emotional night
Come
for you?
on, man. Really? So if when the camera comes up to me, instead of waving, I'm just weeping.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought that was more likely than what actually happened.
Maybe you start interviewing the drum. When was your saddest
Everglades
moment?
used to be so lush.
What was
and look how
love
dry
like
they
in
are
the
now.
home?
Who hit you the hardest?
Drum, you look like Drum.
Greetings to all. Welcome to 2022. Omicron is on the run, and away it went. But oops, there goes gravity, and here comes a new variant. Omaha, Corona, Hut 1, Hut 2, nothing infects the Super Bowl, and nothing stops football.
Racism, greed, trauma to brain and spine. And yet, I cannot look away. Heroes are dead. Science has their heads. Oh, is there no escape from here? I need to know. It eats my soul. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell. It's human cockfighting. CTE prayer circles. They blackball the blackballer. They tried to end racism by stenciling it in the end zone. Billionaire boys using millionaires as toys. It's all immoral, all unethical. Ooh, the witching hour. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell. It's Urban and Snyder and Flores and Gruden, but Kyler, but Kelsey, but Cooper, but Canty. It's cheating and tanking and bounties and banking, but parlays, but face paint, but promo, but pennies.
Here we go. This one's for all the glory. Give it your best, it's all you got. Don't look back. Oh, it's all part of the story. You talk the talk, now walk the walk. Yeah.
When the game's on the line, will you have the guts to make the call? When it's crunch time, will you make us scream? God bless football.
From the back of every bar, or the subway, on the streets or in your car, wherever you have found yourself, scream out your battle cry. I'm all in. I'm all in. Fourth and goal, or pin back at your 30. Time to prove you're a hot shot. Let's attack. Oh, your name is Brandon Staley.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Can you guys put up that graphic, please, for March Sadness? Because I have done a very poor job of, and Billy's drowning. Billy's drowning. God bless football. March Sadness. The work never ends. And he's been are you in charge of this tournament? Because I feel
Absolutely not. I mean, yes, but no. If that makes sense.
It doesn't.
I mean, I'm not. I came up with the idea. Now it's become, so what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I just offered the idea. But then it's more like, well, are you going to do that? I'm like, I just gave you an idea. You didn't have an idea. So I go to lebatardaf.com, and you can submit your video. We're going to pick 64 to go up against each other.
Wow.
And then fans will be voting against each other. And you'll get a prompt every round that you'll do it. And then fans voting will determine who will watch a game with a Dan Le Batard.
If I may,
Yeah.
I think you guys have done a spectacular job promoting this. It was yesterday where we learned about this, and you've just explained it pretty clear as day. Here to start another segment. So you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Hot streak for Dan Le Batard continues.
Keep those videos coming because, as I told you yesterday, the way that I've learned that things work is maybe the first 64. So you want to get on that first 64 just to make sure you have a shot. Because if you're, submission 218, but we have 64 that we like, I don't know that number 219 is going to come in and bump someone out. So get in. Also, here's something that I didn't expect to happen, friends. I had someone reach out to me on Cameo yesterday, and the request was, can you record my video for March Sadness? So, like a Larry or a Tom or whatever reached out to me and said,
that's creative.
they want me, Billy, to speak on their behalf why they should get into March Sadness. So, I mean, I don't think that...
Wait, did you do it?
I haven't done it yet, and I find myself, Greg, I think in a similar situation as Dan in terms of I may be compromised here.
Yeah.
I think the situation here, though, is different, though, because if I do this video where I am going to be someone's submission on their behalf, it is fan voting, so fans can decide who moves on from round to round. You know what I mean? So, I'm not actually compromised here. I'm just doing a fan a solid in exchange for compensation.
Yeah, of course.
But, that's just, them's the breaks.
Are these entries going to be seeded? I feel like you would be a number 1 seed.
No, well, I'm not a fan. No, the fans are the ones that go and do it, and then we will get 64 best, and then we will seed them, and then they'll go up against each other bracket style.
I am so clear on what this contest is.
Yeah, you get the prompt.
What's the time limit on the video?
30 seconds. That's what it said on the graphic.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
You can't even do anything in 30
or
seconds.
less.
Oh, yes, you can.
I'm still clearing my throat after 30 seconds.
Well, I don't doubt that.
I want a brutalist length video. I'm going to submit a 4-hour video.
Is Greg allowed to make a submission?
Yeah, anyone can make a submission. Yeah.
All right, I'm on it.
One of our submissions will just be Adrien Brody's acceptance speech at the Oscars.
Not how it works. No, that
God,
will
that was
not
terrible.
That's not. No.
So obnoxious.
Not the contest.
3
at
minutes
all.
in, he goes. The music starts playing, and he's like, "Turn that off, guys. I'll be quick. I'm wrapping up." And then he goes on for another 2.5 minutes.
Awful.
And part of his speech is he invoked, this is special because my career kind of died after I won the previous one. Why was that, Adrien? Did you wear out your welcome at all? Maybe read the room. This is like when Ben Affleck came all the way back after Argo and decided, hey, superhero movies. That's my move.
If I'm considering him for a role, I see that speech. Nope, someone else.
I actually went back and watched Cillian Murphy's speech from last year when he won for Oppenheimer. What a good speech. He was in, he was out. He gave a very poignant message at the end, this is for all, we live in Oppenheimer's world. This is for all the peacekeepers. And then he left. And I stood up in my room and I clapped again because that guy gets it.
And no one thought about him as he had to stand there for 6 minutes.
Must have been bored to tears.
Watching Adrien Brody do whatever the hell that was.
McConaughey's speech a few years ago, that was good.
That was great. It was fantastic. Adrien Brody should never work in this town again.
Seriously.
Okay, put it on the poll.
Miami?
At Le Batard Show. Should Adrien Brody ever work in this town again? At Le Batard Show. Jessica, I'm a little annoyed. Mike has come on. He's been just hot the last couple of days.
Days?
Well, yeah. He's
Thank you.
He is looking good.
Thank you. Put in the work.
What prompted the shave?
The shave?
Yeah.
I wanted to see what my face looked like now that I'm thinner. Not a fan of it.
Roboito.
It's cold in here, huh?
He's
That's the nipple stickers. No matter how much weight I lose, those are always going to be there.
Oh, for the love of God.
Oh my God, he just showed his tummy on camera.
Yeah.
This is a moment.
Wow.
I don't know what kind of moment.
Mike
but-
is feeling good about himself, but he's also revving very high. And so he has twice hit us now. One was before the show, where he's just coming in hot and he's just hitting everyone with a cleaver of read the room. That phrase, read the room. And so I look up and there's just yelling involved. And I look up and it's just read the room. And it's an argument is broken out about James Bond, about the idea of Michael Strahan as James Bond. And Mike Ryan screaming at everyone in the room that Michael Strahan needs to read the room. Nobody likes the guy that tells everybody else to read the room.
I like the confidence, but now's not the time for Michael Strahan to be doing this. An American to just bully his way. Hey, no, I think I can play the UK's most iconic role. No, you can't.
Yeah, but anybody can do a British accent.
No.
That would slap.
I bet you Michael Strahan can't.
Oh, come on.
I would venture to say his is probably bad. And this is distinctly American.
Can we hear Michael Caine's over here? Can we hear Greg Cody has said he could be he could be with some training, he could be a movie star.
Well,
do you want to give us
a working actor? I don't think I ever said star.
Right, you said you could feature movies.
You said anyone could do a British accent. Yeah. So let's hear yours.
You want to hear?
Go for it.
Can you do one?
This is your Bond audition.
I need a script.
Yeah.
We can make that happen.
All right, we'll get it for you.
All right.
We'll get it for you in a moment.
The amount of confidence I'm down with from Michael Strahan, I actually can understand. how Michael Strahan can climb to the heights of professional football, conquer morning television, and then be the face of GMA, and then decide, yeah, I could be James Bond. It actually makes perfect sense why Michael Strahan would believe he could be James Bond, kind of like the way that Stephen A. Smith firmly believes he could be president. I get how your confidence gets to that place. That's not my issue. If you think you can be James Bond, we can disagree about that, but I'm down with your level of confidence. It's just not right now. America's name has been tainted throughout all of Europe. We cannot have Michael Strahan just barging in and volunteering that he could be James Bond right now, given our global standing. It's just too much. Now's not the time.
Read the room.
I do think any British person can do an American accent, but most Americans can't do a British accent.
Oh, yeah? Have you watched Dante's Peak?
No.
Well, I don't know what Pierce Brosnan was doing.
Okay, I believe lately around here we've done a lot of disrespecting of a lot of forever franchises, and so we've been making a lot of 007 jokes, but what was happening before the show between Mike and Carl was not a joke. Carl, and I'm not hearing a dissenting opinion around here, and I was busy, so I didn't catch. I was busy with all of Greg Cody's mocking of me, giving away my integrity as a journalist, that I didn't catch what the argument was about. However, I believe it's passionate as I've heard Carl be about anything around here. And so I'd like to hear from the group here that doesn't respect 007 in defense of the franchise, because I believe that Mike Ryan, when he's arguing on behalf of James Bond, or anyone's arguing on behalf of a black James Bond, Mike Ryan saying, not now, read the room.
No. It has nothing to do with a black James Bond. Don't you put that on me, Dan. That is not what I'm doing.
Look, there was
I
something...
am anti-Michael Strahan being James Bond because the timing's not right. Idris, go for it. I think you'd be great. The dissenting opinion that I heard from Carl, who is black, said that I just don't see Michael Strahan sitting in a bar undercover in Siberia. And I had never thought about it that way. Yeah, it's probably not the most undercover approach. Michael Strahan would stick out in Siberia. Excellent point.
I'm just saying
I'm sorry. The way you just threw so many people under the train tracks so quickly.
All I'm telling you, I'm only catching pieces and shrapnel of an argument because I was involved in my own thing, which is trying to avoid Greg Cody making fun of me mercilessly for selling my soul and journalism to run this company. I just heard Carl arguing with you, and I heard you arguing with him, and I heard Michael Strahan, and I heard Black 007, and it was just a lot of words. I wasn't processing any of what was being said.
Well, you could ask before we just go on air and call people racist.
I didn't. No. Did I just call?
Why didn't you read the room at all? You're just taking the variables and not any of the actual
I just felt the heat
context.
of it on my neck. I wasn't reading the room at all. I was
classic shit stirring. It really is. That's how we always.
That
fallen
really
for
was
this.
incredible.
You will not turn me against anybody but Michael Strahan.
I wasn't trying to. Carl was arguing with you. Was he not? Carl, were you not arguing with him?
No, we actually had two completely separate points to make there.
Yeah, I was very much pro Black 007, where Carl came in and he's like, absolutely not.
Cannot, even if it's British. Wow. Idris Elba, don't care.
Okay, so hold on now, Dan. Is Carl racist?
I just wanted to talk to Carl
Carl
about
doesn't
this.
want a Black 007, Dan. You put yourself in quite the spot.
Yeah, Mark, I appreciate you doing that to me. Carl, thank you for all your good work. I appreciate
But he's got great ideas as to why. He's not just a racist. He's thought this racism through.
I'm Bond, James Bond. I'll have a martini, shaken, not stirred.
You're just doing Ringo Starr.
There are a number of different English accents.
Ringo Starr also can't be James Bond.
UK
I heard a little
is
bit of
big
Austin
country.
Powers, too.
It really isn't a big country, though.
Do I make you horny, baby? Bond. James Bond.
It kind of sounded a little like Eric Reed at the end, too.
Groovy, baby.
Okay, so we've decided that you and Michael Strahan can't be James Bond.
Well, we need an old James Bond.
Haven't they all been kind of old? Like, Daniel Craig's not some spring chicken.
Yeah, they're all middle-aged.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to
What
be.
about like a Ray Fiennes?
Ralph. He's in his
Old
60s.
James Bond.
Isn't Ralph 60?
Yeah, I think so.
He did, like, I saw, he said that he wanted to get his body in the shape of a rope for that movie, The Return. Have you seen, like, he did, like, Homer's Odyssey. He did a movie like that this year that came out to not as much fanfare as Conclave did. He got in incredible shape for that. His body does look like a rope. However, he's
hot.
60. Oh, he's very attractive.
Oh, but it would stand to reason, right? If we're going to give movie star franchises, action franchises to 50 and 60-year-old actors the way that we would, that Strahan would, of course, think he could just be 007. Like, hey, I'm a 50-year-old and I'm a lot fitter than these other guys. I've kept myself in shape, and why wouldn't it seem to confident people competing for money and entertainment that they could all be James Bond in their 50s because all the action stars are 50?
I think Strahan was talking to the CEO of Amazon and was like, I'll do it. I'm here. And then it got aggregated, and now it's become a very hot debate in which you called Mike Ryan a racist.
Yeah. When Carl was the racist the entire time.
I misheard it. I'm sorry. I will apologize publicly to both you and Carl. I caught pieces of the argument. It just I wasn't listening closely. And I'm sorry that I am publicly sorry that happened that way. I did not intend for I misunderstood
I don't believe you. I think it's not. I think you're lying right now, and I think you're just trying to stir shit constantly. I understand, like I said, the confidence in why Michael Strahan thinks he can be James Bond, but can we like start? It's like Stephen A. wanting to be president and coming out and saying like. He doesn't. He may have to be.
The people want him to,
but
be.
He's got no. But he's also been quoted as saying he's got no interest in doing anything but that if he goes into politics. Like, would it kill you to start as comptroller?
That's crazy.
Like, get some level of experience. I know it's like super vogue to not be a politician, and we've seen two elections won by novice politicians, 45 and 47.
Well, where you guys make fun of me on this stuff and where it is that there are sales in journalism, I will say that I have really just had my breath taken away by what a marvel Stephen A. Smith is in terms of being able to climb to the heights of power in a country where the power is given away to people like Trump and Musk, and we keep giving all of the power away, and fame and attention are the things you need to have. He has masterfully played his career so that he has a ton of options, and it is somehow unsurprising that his betting odds for Democratic presidential nominee are higher than Michelle Obama's or Kamala Harris's. Like, he's cut the line. Because it's fame and celebrity, just on betting odds.
Yeah, I mean, that's no way to judge it.
Okay, but just for the moment, it's look, man, you say that's no way to judge it, but I just saw a reality star. Like, I'm in the middle of an apocalypse, we all are, where you're like, wait a minute, okay, so we're this clearly in bed with Russia? Where we're no longer the face of democracy this overtly? Because when Greg comes on and says, duh, Donald Trump is in bed with Russian oligarchs. They're trying to create the same thing here. They're trying to make Russia here. And now, and they're just land barons. Like, we'll make Gaza. We'll make it a strip mall. Like,
yeah, buy Greenland.
No, but I'm serious. Like, what's happening with the power? We've given it away to idiots. Like, we've given it away to fools. These people who are leading us to war. Like, what are we doing with Russia and Ukraine? Like, this is simple. Anyone in America would look at this and just say, what are we doing? No? Like, there's another.
No, it does make, like, all this sort of, like, Cold War feel. Like, the Miracle on Ice doesn't really hit the same now than it used to,
James
right?
Bond is, like, less relevant.
I just finished watching the show The Americans, and I'm like, I feel like the Russian spies would get cabinet positions now.
They killed one of the best Rocky villains ever. Now Apollo's the bad guy?
It's very bleak.
We're going to make the United States Russia. That's what we're going to do. Just all white people. Just like make it all white people. Run everyone. Right. Run all the other bloodlines out.
Well, no, because Michael Strahan's going to be James Bond.
Not if Carl has anything to do with it.
Jimmy Johnson. I meant to get to this in the local hour with Greg Cody because I do want every once in a while to give trilogies on people while they're still alive, what they meant to me. And I've talked to Jimmy the last couple of days, and he wants to be left alone for a while because He's not going to do what he's been doing for a while. This is the end of his career, and he knows, as Bobby Bowden said, that when you retire from this stuff, there's only one more ceremony where people gather at this age. He saw Wayne Huizenga, who built Fort Lauderdale, who brought the Panthers here. He saw him at the end, lose his faculties. And Wayne Huizenga, owner of the Dolphins, is people who built things down here. Gave Jimmy Johnson, like he gave Nick Saban, a wide berth to coach the most prestigious thing that there was in this town. And Jimmy Johnson didn't want to do it so much after his mother died, and he kind of wanted to get to the rest of his life and be with his kids. He's proud of one son who's fought really hard through addiction, and he's developed real family ties. And this is the end of Jimmy's career, and I understand that he's an immortal and he's mortal, but when you retire after 31 years at Fox and you're part of building that network, you're part of Fox became the power that it has, at least in part because it was a serious network that had to be dealt with because Jimmy Johnson was broadcasting football games on Fox. That career, I don't know if I could say the second part of his career is more impressive than the first, but I would say it from this respect. He developed real friends and family in Jay Glazer and Terry Bradshaw. There is nothing like that on television except inside the NBA, where you see friends grow old together and you see that they love each other on television. And they welcome in Strahan and it fits. And they can welcome in anybody and it would fit because that's a group of people who have learned to be professionally adult in front of us for 30 years. Jimmy Johnson is now retired. He is done with all of this. You, as someone who has covered him in this market and knows what he means to this market, would place him where in the pantheon of epic sports figures we've ever had here?
I think he'd be on the Mount Rushmore. I think he'd be in the top four. Shula, Dwayne Wade, Pat Riley, and Jimmy Johnson. I'd be satisfied with those four.
Marino would like a word.
Well, the number 5 is always going to like a word when it comes to Mount Rushmore. But Jimmy Johnson, I think he's one of 4 or 5 coaches who have won both a Super Bowl and a college.
This is crazy what you're saying.
We can't let you put Jimmy Johnson
ahead of Dan Marino.
Dan the man.
Jimmy Johnson invented swagger and solidified what became the glory days at the University of Miami. Okay,
but he didn't even win the first championship. Howard Schnellenberger did.
Howard Schnellenberger did, and
so didn't he invent swag?
No. Those teams. Schnellenberger's
put his rings in a box.
Schnellenberger's Hurricanes were classic underdogs. Jimmy Johnson's Hurricanes were braggadocio defined. He wanted his team to be cocky. Jimmy Johnson invented swagger at the University of Miami.
You mentioned that again.
But they didn't win those.
In 3 consecutive seasons, he won a championship. He finished second, and he finished second. And he never got over losing to Penn State 14-10 in a championship game with his best team ever. He had a whole roster of guys who were going to be playing on Sunday the following year. And then with the Dolphins, he makes 3 playoffs in a row, and he drafts 2 Hall of Fame players. He drafts the 2 best cornerbacks they've ever had. He leaves Dave Wannstedt with a roster that finally won a playoff game just after he left. I think Jimmy Johnson's been great, and his broadcasting career may be even better. And I can't say that about any of the other coaches who won.
Well, but the part I'm saying is better, right, is that when Jimmy Johnson was a professional football coach, he speaks of that time now with a retching sound at the man that it made him because the friendships felt real, and I'm sure they are with Norv Turner and whatnot, but the fire of all that, the intensity of all that, the job he had to do as a boss to overlord a guy like Tony Wise, who would be a lifetime disciple because Jimmy Johnson had these people he was running through a furnace because he was taking them to the top of football. Those friendships can get burned up or become stronger. I'm sure they went both ways. Wannstedt, you always see these guys golfing. Whatever they went through together was a beautiful, hard thing, but he retches at the thought of it because he wasn't as close to those men as these who make him cry all the time now. Because he can get emotional easily now, because he loves Jay Glazer, because he loves Terry Bradshaw most of all.
Yeah, best friends.
But best friends who became best friends in adulthood. Think of how many of those you have. Best friends who became best friends after 50, because it's a different thing, right? You choose your friends early, you work through things with them, you go through work with them. Jimmy Johnson and Terry Bradshaw became best friends on television. And they became best friends in a way that I'm guessing Jimmy Johnson has more access to what real depression looks like and what it is to care about someone who can sink into real depression and needs the help of someone who loves him. My guess, I haven't talked to Jimmy about this, but if I had to guess what their relationship is, I would guess that Terry Bradshaw has allowed Jimmy Johnson to come out a little more vulnerably late in life and talk about things that Jimmy probably wasn't analyzing very much when he was, working too hard. Getting up to 50 years old. But I ask you as an expert on this town, they disagree with you here. Like the shipping container, I feel like, disagrees strongly with your Mount Rushmore. And I would like you to defend your take because I don't think it's as absurd as they think it is. Although Marino, you're talking about some symbolic things, and Marino...
Marino has to be like...
But he built a children's hospital.
Can we make this a Mount Gregmore, which we do on the Greg Cody Show, which is a top 5?
Then I would have Marino as
There
my
we
fifth.
go.
Okay,
Mount
well,
Gregmore.
We were
Settled.
also maybe like we do a player Mount Rushmore and like a coach executive
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore because like then you can put Spoelstra on the coach one. I feel like he should be on something,
should.
right?
Maybe.
It can't be 4 coaches.
No.
Well, on the coach,
coach-
Mount Rushmore
Mount
can be,
Rushmore.
or Mount
Honestly,
Gregmore.
You could really like nail down the player Mount Rushmore to just 2 names.
Really.
Wade and Marino.
Wade and Marino.
Ooh.
That's a tier to itself.
Bubble Jimmy,
I would
though.
agree with that.
What about Kachuk?
Barkov would be.
Kachuk's got to win a little bit more. to get
Barkov
there.
would be the Panther.
And I guess Barkov. Well, we'll see. That story's yet unwritten.
Who would be the Marlin? Miguel Cabrera?
Nobody.
No Marlin.
Nobody.
Wow.
No
No
Marlin. No
Marlin?
Marlin even made it to my OLI on coaches. You could make an argument for Jack McKeon, left him out of my OLI. Wow. When Paul Maurice, Ron Frazier, and Howard Schnellenberger OLI on my coach Mount Rushmore.
Wow, Ron Frazier. How about that? R.I.P.
Culture builder.
Yeah.
My Mount Rushmore for coaches is Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Jimmy's then making it only because of his time at the University of Miami. Then,
I mean, he does get some points for the Dolphins, but
Cowboys can't be in play here.
But Miami was very proud of that Cowboys team because he
No.
also had Michael Irvin on it, so
But
it
then
kind
you
of
have-
felt like a Miami team.
Yeah, but then you have someone like a Miguel Cabrera who did his best elsewhere while being part of
Although
the
that
Marlins.
hit off the rocket.
But he did his best work down here in this market, I think, with that Miami run. Number 3 is Eric Spoelstra. Often forgotten because he's always compared to Riley, more successful head coach in terms of championships than Pat Riley was.
Best timeout caller in sports history.
Kind of ruined that a little bit. Pat Riley's number 2, and then Shula number 1, and that one's pretty easy. But I think we can all agree, Marino and Wade, that's a tier to itself.
agreed.
You could make like a social and global impact metric for Messi, but he hasn't been here long enough yet.
Right.
Throw him
What?
in there, though. It
Only-
just looks good.
Hasn't won anything either.
Only one ring for Riley down here, though, as a coach, if we're going to be honest, and he kind of shoved Stan Van Gundy out of the way to get that one. So, I mean, do you put someone on Mount Rushmore for half a season of coaching?
What about Stugotz? He's a coach.
That is
Yeah.
true.
LAX.
Who would be 3 and 4 on the player Mount Rushmore? We've established that-
Morning.
No, I wouldn't put Morning over LeBron.
No.
Well, but the thing with LeBron, though, we got 4 years of his prime, and he won 2 championships. But 4 years is not a lot to be in this market to be considered.
But he was the best
For the
player in
honor.
the
Well,
world.
You want
when
people
he
that
was
were here longer that were worse?
Yeah.
I want people who are longer and also had an impact and won something.
I was actually legitimately doing like sort of community stuff too, though. I'm talking about impact in a market.
Nah,
Don't forget, he left this community.
that is true.
I still haven't forgiven him.
What are we doing with Larry Zonka?
Zonk would be up there for me.
Is he on the Rushmore?
Zon can't be up there.
He might be if the Rushmore of players.
He can't
Well,
be.
Well, then I'm
obviously,
trying to decide who
it'd be-
round out the Rushmore of
It'd be
local
weird if he
players.
was on the coach's one.
Zonka is why the Dolphins won back-to-back Super Bowls. It wasn't Bob Greasy throwing
He's a
10
Super Bowl
passes.
MVP.
Barkov might be there.
Barkov, he's had longevity, decade plus.
Barkov might be there.
How
Stanley
can
Cup
you say that
champion?
Barkov can be there but not LeBron James?
Because LeBron James was here 4 years. Barkov's here 10 years. Big difference.
People watch LeBron.
Okay. Put Lionel
What are you
Messi there.
doing?
He's been here 2
I'm just
years.
trying to sort out
Shut
this
up,
Mount Rushmore
man.
that has 50 people on it now.
You could make a Mount Rushmore of players the Marlins traded.
Ooh, I mean,
that's the
you
truth.
could not. You'd have to limit it to 4.
Well,
Here's the thing in the middle of that went, I think, largely unnoticed, just like a stray rocket of enthusiasm. Chris Cody saying of Cabrera, oh my God, that home run.
That was a moment.
Off,
mean,
off
dude,
the rocket.
we're just doing moments? That's on the Mount Rushmore of moments.
Of moments?
In South Florida.
All right, we'll do moments.
Wait, hold on. Is Messi on the Mount Rushmore of
No,
Miami
not a
athletes?
moment.
No, I think we closed it out with Manu.
Really?
Yeah.
Marino, Wade, Barkov, Manu.
Older than Joey.
What's Wade's moment?
You kidding me? Just go outside.
This is my house?
Yeah, that's...
I think Messi's moment was when the paparazzi caught him at Publix.
The 06 finals. To answer your question,
That's what I'm saying.
That was a
That's
is
more than
Dwayne
that's,
Wade's
yeah,
moment.
exactly. That's not this
Even
house.
though it was rigged.
Was the scene behind me my moment?
The sad. God,
No,
that would
you've
be
had
sad.
no, you've had
Your moment was the Speedo thing. I still don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was that was another moment in which you surprised.
Also
All right.
addressing the wrong Wu-Tang member in Vegas.
But that wasn't
Chris.
here, though,
That
so
was a
that
great
doesn't
moment.
count.
That was in
yeah,
Vegas.
that was a
Tom?
Nevada moment.
By the way-
Much more positive Dan Le Batard moment.
By the way, Dan,
In
everyone
Miami.
during the break was saying that you thinking that we could get into the speakeasy was another Four Seasons moment.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
How great is this? For me only.
Yeah, but Cynthia and Roy and
Well, they allowed your crew to come with you.
you are my crew.
Not if
No.
they.
They used the other two tickets.
Yeah, there was two tickets allotted for the
Guys,
remainder
you
of
are
the crew.
you are not going to turn this into you guys didn't have access to this.
No, I would have. I would have been fine. I'm a VIP,
See,
but everybody else, no. They
Your
would not have.
incredulity about this proves it was another Four Seasons moment.
Yeah, you trust me. They could if we went with like a crew of 17. There's no way they get in.
There
They're
was-
not.
there were
They're not
6.
letting Ethan in. Ethan.
There were 6 people in
Well,
there.
that's how you make things exclusive. You don't let people in.
don't-
In a perfect night, a speakeasy has no one in it. That's the dream night for a speakeasy.
There were like 9 people
Yeah,
there.
that's capacity.
Yeah, that's
No, I'm talking about of our people.
Yesterday?
I don't believe
There's
that.
no way.
Who are those people?
Sean McGill was in there.
Okay, all
Ron,
right.
Again,
One.
with your crew.
Rhonda's son.
Yeah, but you're my crew. I don't know what it is.
One,
You're
Roy,
my crew.
and
Roy, Cynthia.
Roy had a credential.
and Kristen. Okay, that's 4.
Should have had a suite.
and,
Kristen in the
Who are
no,
the other 5?
No, and then there were the tickets for Greg and Chris that they did not use.
Well, no,
Well,
those
that's
were
how the
used
other two
by
got in.
Kristen
Right.
and Cynthia.
No, we
said there-
sacrificed so others could get.
Yeah.
You said there were 9 people in the
Greg's
speakeasy.
selfless.
And I'm
thank
still
you,
waiting
Billy.
for the other 5.
No, and
One of them was Thordy.
and 2 of them were
2?
Panther PR people. Yeah, so those weren't our people.
Was Kachuk's dad in there?
Slow night.
Big Walt.
There weren't that many people in there.
DeChambeau?
Huh. Imagine that. By the way, speaking of that, I've been meaning to ask you the significance of the jersey number 25. Is that the percentage of your integrity left? Or is there another reason for it? I was just curious.
Now the moments have to be in South Florida. Like the actual moment has to be in South Florida, Billy.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so billboards aren't on there, even though
No.
he did that for this market. He did that for us.
No, that's in the Northeast Ohio region.
I don't know if I can get 4. I definitely have 3.
There's not 4 moments in Miami.
Like 4 positive Dan Le Batard moments that he's like, this is our guy.
You guys are saying this was a positive moment. It's your
Yeah.
It has not felt this with my friend Greg Cody. There's very little about this with my friend Greg Cody that has been shared in positive. Would you not agree?
I think this is like what happened last night in terms of pro South Florida Dan Le Batard moments is a silver medalist.
I was surprised I was not booed. I was surprised by that.
Why?
Just preaching to the choir, pal. 3rd place is the Jim Mandich Parade.
That was a cool one.
That was your bronze medalist. Silver was last night. And first place, the Speedo, where you surprised everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe the battery. The battery at the first taping down here.
Yeah, that was good.
That's okay. That's a Rushmore.
Yep.
Do like on-air moments count? I think Greg scooping his
do.
engagement was.
That's
but
not a Dan
That's
moment.
a moment
That's a
for
Greg
Greg.
moment.
I would go
You're right.
rant over that. The original
The
rant.
rants were good.
Dan met that moment.
Wow, this has been a real nostalgia tour here
about
today. Are you done with me on this subject? Are you gonna? Is the integrity joke is a good one that we're gonna make for the rest of
Right.
our lives,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And you will always be able to point out because this is forever. The internet
Right.
is forever. So I'm experiencing this very differently between you and them, okay? Because everyone's making fun of me, but they're doing it positively, and you are legitimately pretty close to ashamed of me.
I mean, I'm positive of your performance.
No, but
you
you're
were
pretty
a little quick with the beat.
You're pretty close to ashamed of me for doing it. Yes
I'm
or
surprised you did it. I don't think it serves you well.
Are you ashamed of me for doing it?
Ashamed is too strong a word.
How close to ashamed are you?
Pretty close. Not quite there.
Okay.
Not quite there. Had you worn the jersey on the show today, which you should have, it might have lapsed into shame.
But you should have done it.
Yeah, you should have worn the jersey.
Yeah.
In fact, at the next commercial break, go put on the jersey.
Yeah.
Just rip the Band-Aid, yeah.
Did you sign the drum, or did they say don't sign the drum, just sign the wall inside?
I was able to sign both the drum and the wall.
Whoa.
That's big status?
Did they add?
I'm sure you recognize some of those SIGs.
Look at me.
Most
I was
are.
too busy enjoying myself.
Wow, they even put a little space between the Le and the Batard. That's classy.
So when you're about to strike, are you reading that like, oh, man, Gretzky?
Guys, I will tell you again that I was scared. I don't understand. Like, none of this is comfortable to me, and I was being weighed down by the withering criticism of my friend here.
Sure.
My supporter who couldn't be bothered to show up, but criticized threw rocks from afar to make fun of me so that he can have this moment where he could be very close to ashamed of me. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. It was something I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to do it, cloaking it in journalistic responsibility, but it's mostly because I was afraid of it, because I thought I was just going to screw it up. I thought I was going to do something
so did
wrong.
we.
I thought, how hard do I have to hit this? And is there the chance the stick will fly out of my hand? It is the thing I was most afraid of. They're like, hit it hard. No one's ever done more than 5. So I was going to get to 5. McDaniel got to 5. I wanted to go to 6. I did. I should have just.
You should have run through the stop sign, because I see there's always that guy with the thing like leading you. You should have run through the stop sign.
Yeah, but I did not. When I just saw Luongo do it, I was not as bold and confident as him. I feel inferior by leaps and bounds to Luongo.
But he's the standard.
Chris, what was your other nomination?
I do have
for
another for
moment?
a Dan moment. Does this one make the top Mount Rushmore, Mike? The first time we saw Dan put French fries on a salad.
Oh.
I'll put it as OLI.
That's a strong one. I'll never forget that.
Mike has a list back here. I'm kind of curious what's on
Right
it.
now, I'm building top Dan moments that happened abroad.
You didn't put in there Las Vegas Wu-Tang.
No, that doesn't make it. That was a bad moment.
Oh, this is good moments. I thought just moments in general.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
bad
Carrot Top
moments
is
are best.
60.
Really?
Yeah.
He looks
Seems
Looks great.
Like it.
Really?
From shoulders up, he looks all of 75. Shoulders down, different story.
Who are you talking about?
Carrot
Carrot
Top.
Top.
Oh, wow. He's 70?
Yeah.
No, 60.
Oh, 60.
All right, Greg. The show was moving too fast for Greg.
You're
there.
70.
Greg.
Shoulders up, he is.
So Greg.
Yeah.
Just Carrot Top. They went quickly from Wu-Tang to Carrot Top, and this is the first time anyone has brought up Wu-Tang to my face, and it still hurts. Like it I will tell you that I am exposed here, and that you talk about.
He's splayed.
You talk about ashamed. No, a splayed, a shame, all of it. Oh my God, that's the first time any of you have mentioned it. I was hoping we would go the rest of our lives without anyone doing so.
I feel like a lot of your worst moments coincide with Greg's best moments, because Greg was thriving.
He was great. He was so great.
He carried us on his back that day.
Wow.
Meanwhile,
Kind of you
Dan
to
was
say.
spiraling.
That's correct.
Similar to when he scooped your engagement. Thriving.
Proud moment. Best thing I've ever written.
What's your fourth best moment that happened
And
abroad?
accurate.
Because I got the top 3 right now. Gramercy Theater, you sold it out in 90 seconds. You delivered a good show with the help of Greg. Thank you. Second place is the Billboards.
Oh, yeah.
The Billboards in Akron, Ohio, which Greg was also a part of, supplementing every step of the way, it would seem. He's right there,
Good
right next to
friends.
you. And number 1 is going to China with Michael Jordan.
Wow.
Back in the journalism days.
That was a moment. Would you do that interview if they said the only way you can talk to Michael is if you wear a Michael Jordan jersey?
I bet he would have. He's got the track record for it.
Didn't he almost die in a hot air balloon once?
Yes.
Was that a good moment?
Was
though?
is that one of your top
That wasn't
moments, or is
content,
that
though.
bottom?
I don't know why. Yes, this is as close to death as I've probably ever been, given that a hot air balloon on our honeymoon crashed into the African. A hole burned into it, and it crashed in a field that was dangerous.
So the last 2 trips that you've taken to Africa, you've almost died.
Ron's almost
Both.
gotten him killed.
Both.
Twice. Well, that was a gift from Ron.
Now we're starting to wonder insurance scam.
Ron
Yes, right
might
there.
be trying. Ron might
he
be
in your will?
trying to kill me. It seems possible. He welcomed his son into our life yesterday. How
to
did
finish the job.
How did everyone feel about that? How did everyone feel about Sean McGill's run through here?
A bit yappy, if you ask me.
Oh, so loud. Does not shut up.
Won't stop talking, that guy, Sean McGill.
Maybe Ron wrote the notes that made Dan make the mistake at the Vegas show, too. That almost caused him to die of shame. Third attempt at his life.
Just spitballing here for potential Dan moments. There was the time he made this noise.
Her profile at the company and her voice.
I don't think that makes it cut.
No, that doesn't.
Sounded like a baseball being hit.
Her profile at the company and her voice.
A deep shot to left field.
Her profile at the company and her voice. It sounds like a rocket, man. That ball was hit 400 feet. Her profile at the company and her voice. That ball was pulled.
Got some bat speed on that.
Hot shot, hit foul.
Gary Sheffield did that. Like, that's... You got that as a foul ball into the dugout? That's a screaming...
That's a home run from Castellanos.
How did you make that sound?
Folks, I'm not sure I'm ever going to put on these headsets again.
Anything you want, everything you need, you can get it all. Pat McAfee, writings on the wall, what's it gonna be? You'll see Marshall Falk and Mariucci. Anything you want, everything you need, you can get it all from Dominique. Writings on the wall, what's it gonna be? You can get it all. Kyle Brandt's Hemis.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
My team's not there, but I'm gonna show.
My team's also not there, but I'm gonna show.
Everybody knows it's bound to be.
Everybody knows it's bound to be
the greatest night for you and me. Come on now.
I'll spend all night out in Venice, then make castles in the sand. Santa Monica's calling, but I'm here to cover the Rams. I'll stay in and avoid chateaus. If I lose, then I'm on Skid Row. Just one drink to begin, not like that's a big sin. Just one beer, then we're gonna go to the Super Bowl.
Now, Mike, you know we're here to cover the big game. It's a time to be professional and avoid all the temptations the City of Angels may have to offer. Ain't that right, Jess and Kate?
That's right. We're just here to ask quirky questions to grown men wearing their full uniforms without pads in a convention hall.
Oh my God, is that George Clooney?
It is! Baby, one scotch at the Roxy. Come on now!
One shot at whiskey, a go-go.
There we go! Now we're drinking to unemployed temptations.
So much to see instead of the big game. And the traffic is bad on La Brea. So come on, join me in popping tequila.
I'm just here to drink and find Lewis Hamilton. Hey guys. I'm Brand.
You gonna shotgun a beer or what? I don't feel so good. I am genuinely fucked up right now.
Showtime, buddy!
The Bengal speaks. And the ram responds. The Bengal tiger is an apex predator with no natural enemies other than man. It's equipped with incredible strength, combined with sharp claws and massive canine teeth, designed for overpowering and killing its prey that can weigh over 1,000 pounds. It is, in reality, a finely tuned killing machine. The ram, on the other hand, though extremely quick and powerful in its own right, is a vegetarian that does not have to hunt down and kill to survive. Their massive horns are powerful, and they do have the ability to severely injure an animal with a well-placed bow, giving them the opportunity to escape. But for one to be able to overtake a Bengal tiger in a fight to the death would require a small miracle.
Stafford with the ball, with 6 minutes left, down 4 points, with 79 yards to go.
In a face-to-face battle, the best the ram could hope for would be an extremely lucky first blow, done in the form of a massive headbutt that would temporarily stun the Bengal and provide an opportunity for escape. That, however, is unlikely. And the most realistic result would be the Bengal striking its claws into the ram while burying its teeth into its neck and causing a fairly quick death by severing the spine.
T. Higgins is gone for 75 yards.
Then the Bengal would devour the ram. Unless that ram was Cooper.
You and only you can spark a battle cry. The Rams, victory was sealed on strength of your divine champions.
Stafford hangs back, looks off the corner, over the middle, a no-look pass. For Cooper,
Champions.
stops the NFL. Nothing stops the NFL. Nothing stops the
There's nothing like the NFL.
All right, guys, I'm really excited about this. I've just been listening to the Hamilton soundtrack my entire drive over here. A little bit of Another Day of Sun, because Jess and I have been talking about singing that together. Super excited to be part of this.
Hey, Izzy. JT, that's my friend Izzy from ESPN.
Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, guys.
Izzy Gutierrez around the horn. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, look, I understand I don't really work for you guys, but I heard you guys were doing this, and it really means a lot to me. You know, representation matters. I know that's not necessarily something that really counts in your shipping container, or is really accounted for in your shipping container. So once I heard you guys were doing a big gay musical, I had to be a part of it.
Doing what?
The big gay musical. No, I figured I heard about it in Greg Cody's column, or
No, it's the Big Game musical. The Big Game with an M.
Shit. Well, who's going to listen to that?
A long, long time ago, Dan was a prodigy, and his writing used to make him smile. And he knew if he had his chance, he'd rat out for bogus Pell Grants and maybe learn from Cody for a while. But network money made him sell his soul. Now he shows all his bias to the Heat and now the Panthers. Dan's fake news, oh, have you heard? I can't remember if he cried when he told us with his face so wide that all his morals were a lie. The day journalism died. So Dan was saying, oh my, how I'd love to eat pie. Oh, but if it has some gluten, then I think I may die. I'll shoot my integrity straight into the sky, banging Panthers drums as a Cuban-born guy. Panthers drums as a Cuban-born guy.
That's the best thing Jeremy's ever made. Please make that the lane for the rest of your career, Jeremy. Please, just mock me and the selling of my soul in song.
You like him so much better when he's not here.
And when he's just making funny things.
The pie and the gluten and the dye, that was good.
I thought the pie was kind of cheap. I mean, eating pie, I thought he could have gone a little higher.
But the gluten and then you die.
Yeah.
Because you fart.
Well, that's not how that goes, scientifically.
So Dan was saying, oh my, how I'd love to eat pie. Oh, but if it has some gluten, then I think I may die. I'll shoot my integrity straight into the sky, banging Panthers drums as a Cuban-born guy.
See, that's good. It's just that it starts with
Panthers drums as a Cuban-born guy.
I do like him a lot more when he's not here. It's true.
We all do. There was an update, Dan, on the whole speakeasy situation. So it turns out that we had 2 different employees who went to support you, and they reached out to the people that were at the speakeasy with you and said, hey, we'd like to go join you. And they were turned away. They said, no, it's pretty exclusive here. You're not getting in.
And who were they? That never got to me.
Well, no, it didn't get to you, but there was some gatekeeping being done by
your handlers,
the staff that was in the speakeasy with you, turning people away.
It's a job well done.
Rhyme with Schwentez.
No, he was one of the people turned away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
He wasn't the one doing the turning away.
4 seasons.
It was a 4-season situation.
You have good people around you. You don't want to be surrounded by that kind of riffraff.
And last picture I saw of Ethan, he was dressed like a total tool at the Panthers game, to be honest. Imagine him walking in with, overalls with vertical stripes.
Wow,
guys wearing Zubaz overalls.
Where are my boys at?
Zubaz.
Good talent in here.
So hold on a second.
Talent.
So wait. Ethan and Fuentes?
Yeah.
They went to support.
Look,
I mean, Dan, I think you take the support you can get.
No. I asked for different support. The support that I wanted there didn't wish to support.
Well, no, we knew what was going to happen.
No, it wouldn't have happened. No,
you would have made the cut, Billy. Billy, you would have had a smoked old fashioned.
I'm not a speakeasy guy.
I'm
a man of the people. People say VIP treatment. I say no, thank you. Go away. I'm a GA guy.
Right on.
Look,
Catch me in the JMO. Catch me in the JMO.
Look, Jessica gets to wherever she wants, around Wrigley Field because she knows Boog Shambi. Like, no, Billy, you would have gotten in. You would have, Billy.
Billy, I tell Fuentes and Ethan, you guys got to stay up in the GAs?
No,
I can't
Billy,
say that.
this is what I would tell you. Billy, this is what I would tell you, okay? If you think I burned my integrity to the ground here, I just want to be clear about this. If Ethan, dressed the way he does, walks into that room and is representing me, I burn the whole company to the ground. Just be clear on that. So, yes, I do have good people. If that's what they prevented, me at a door coming out and seeing Ethan dressed like that.
What up, bro?
And coming in and representing me and my company because he gets to go to the top of the food chain because Greg Cody can turn down my invitation.
Dan, this is special.
When he's 10 minutes away.
Who we playing today, Rammer?
I anticipated being turned away. That's why I didn't show up.
Same. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't like you talking down to employees of this company. This is a bad look for
Just
you.
Ethan.
Yes.
No,
But Ethan is fine.
I don't think Ethan's really. Is he an employee? Did we pay him? What does he do?
Does anyone talk to him?
Just
You
I think he
pick
just
on,
hangs.
You
He's like
pick
Mike's
on the
mascot.
employees that don't get benefits the most. I don't like that.
He's not picking on them. His people are.
Yeah, no. I would have let Ethan in. If it was up to me, door would be wide open. Saloon doors, that's my policy.
Ethan doesn't get paid. He just gets to be in all the group chats.
Gets paid in vibes.
So when you say picking on him, I understand how you would come by that appraisal. Anyone wearing a jersey 2 times too big walking into that room representing the company, because Billy also would have dressed like a clown. It would have been a Marlins hat and a Dolphins shirt, and it would have been also something that would have been inappropriate in there. But so would have both Codys would have dressed inappropriately too.
Yeah, I'd have been wearing a Greg Cody Show T-shirt for sale in my merch store.
But you could have. You didn't.
I know. I was concerned I would have been turned away at the door, and that'd have been hell to pay.
I'm proud of you, Dan. You're definitely proving Jessica wrong. Yeah. The second she called you out for talking down to just one employee, you decided to talk down to a bunch of them.
All of them.
That's how I do business around here.
And now I'm going to call you out because by your logic of last football season, shouldn't Cam Ward be number 1 on the Miami player Mount Rushmore?
Wow.
What say you?
I mean, in terms of an individual performance in one season, nobody has ever been better doing a thing in South Florida. Ricky Williams led the league in rushing one year. We don't have best in the
season?
league.
LeBron was better.
I like this. This is a new Mount
LeBron.
I thought you were doing 4 people.
Yeah, but LeBron wasn't on it before.
No, but
there's no way that Cam Ward's individual season was better than at least 3 of LeBron's seasons.
I like
down
Dan's
here.
game,
I'm
though.
doing a different game.
Let's
I'm doing
do a
just
single
one
season.
I'm
Oh,
just,
all right, Marino 84.
Single season Mount Rushmore.
Cody Ross had a year.
Cody's crew.
Cody
Dwayne
Ross.
Wade 09. Dwayne Wade 09, the one that Kobe took his what would have been his MVP. All right, let's go.
Pavel Bure in there somewhere?
Russian Rocket, you bet your ass.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 50-goal seasons.
Right? Yeah. Giancarlo Stanton?
No.
Yep, there we go.
He guesses.
Tua last
no.
year.
Get
If he
Stan
would have
outta
got
here.
60, though, he would have been in for sure. That one difference,
59
59 to
though?
60
Yeah.
is
Dontrell
big deal.
Willis, that's a better season than Stan's.
He didn't even win a Cy Young.
Manu last year or spring 2022
Yeah,
season.
2022 Manu for sure.
Manu 2022.
Manu Ginobili.
He's right.
Greg.
No, but it's true.
Greg,
He's right.
Greg, Steve Martin. Greg, come on.
Huberdeau.
Huberdeau.
Huberdeau, like 4 years ago, had Hoopy for heart. Like Huberdeau had a great year in terms of points, statistically.
Yeah.
Better than what his is a different game. Like Kachuk makes more of an impact. on
Bubble Jimmy has to be considered.
Well, the problem that happened, now you're going to get into
Chris
Restrepo's.
Cody's senior year at Plantation High
Restrepo's
School.
having
Oh
a
my
big
God,
one.
South
That was
Plantation.
big.
That's
You guys
fine.
see
Yeah.
Restrepo was
led
meeting with
the
some
team in
special teams
RBIs.
coaches.
I think I was like
What's that about?
honorable mention all county. I
Yeah,
believe.
you were.
Oh, wow.
Damn right you were.
I should have been third team.
If you do individuals games, remember there's that game where Cody slams Pace's drugs.
Yeah.
So that one might be
That
in
was
there.
big.
What about
in the
Billy's senior
Rattler.
pole vaulting season?
I was all dayed.
Just that one photo.
Willie Burton.
That's one game.
Well, that's a new game that we're doing.
Yeah.
Best individual games.
Oh, wow.
Best individual
Me and
quarter
Juju
or
playing
period.
pickleball against Roy and Chris.
That
Wow.
was embarrassing.
Dan, what's the best individual game you've ever seen in South Florida sports history?
Yeah.
What was the Panthers game where we were chanting "We want 10"?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about stakes, though. You're just talking about one individual performance where someone is doing something that we haven't seen
You're just
before.
in awe.
If
So-
we're talking steaks, Lehman made a great ribeye Sunday. I'd like to put that into contention.
Okay,
here.
put that
Nothing like a
down.
great
Yeah,
ribeye.
I
Different
will.
Mount Rushmore.
I will
Ryan and
say.
Mike.
Look, Jimmy Butler's Game 5 performance, staving off elimination against the Los Angeles
No,
Lakers, who
wait,
were wearing
no,
the Kobe
in-
jerseys.
no,
Is that the tired photo where he's like,
yeah, that's a
No,
Game 5.
In basketball, it can't be anything other than LeBron Game 6 in Boston.
Yep, that's true.
It
Well,
Wait, if
can't
that's
we're
not in
doing
Miami, though.
Photos though, the Wade LeBron meme with the dunk and the Jimmy Butler one. Those are two.
No,
of
no,
the
no.
four.
That's
Iconic photos.
images.
That's a
Images.
different game.
Okay,
No, no,
look, let me
let's
tell you something. I'm going to
do
seize
this
on
one
something
next.
because
There's a lot of confusion.
the bubble
here.
did not happen in Miami either.
That's what I'm asking. So, like, are these no?
But it was in Florida.
No, but we're just doing moments. Are the moments having to be in Miami,
No,
and do
Billy.
they have to be
Uniform.
by the home team? Because the
You're over-
Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 game count, because that was in Miami,
Classic Billy.
but he was a visitor.
Classic Billy.
I'm just asking.
No, best individual performances for the home team.
Also, Mike, The Rock beat John Cena at WrestleMania here.
That was electric.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about John Cena again, please.
Oh my God. I just remembered what he did.
What did he do?
Well, he turned on. My whole thing is, all right, so I've had 48 hours to process this, right? John Cena turns. We outlined his motivations. We get that. He's chasing 18. He doesn't have it anymore, so he needs the extra help. What's in it for Travis Scott?
I don't know.
What's in it, Travis Scott? What's in it for you? And the reports are, from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, is that Cody Rhodes suffered a popped eardrum and a black eye at the hands of one Travis Scott. What's his problem with Cody Rhodes? Why doesn't he like the American Nightmare? What's in it for him? Because he's already reached the top of the rap game.
Yeah.
Why is he attacking the WWE champion?
Yeah.
Forgive me for not having any more interest in this. I appreciate all the efforts that you had yesterday in trying.
It's the nicest anyone's ever opted out of that.
Yeah.
Forgive me for not having any interest in this.
I need to be very careful how I talk to you here.
Is that what
because
Greg said yesterday about the Panthers game?
I am done. I am done with the heel turn, and I've been told this has been, as you guys know, becoming a video company, doing all of that in front of you, trying to figure out video when we're just a bunch of fools doing this stupid thing every day has been challenging in a number of different ways. And one of the ways it's been challenging is turning things around quickly, like getting something. I'm still waiting from whatever Amin and Tony made at All-Star Game in Cleveland 4 years ago. Like, I just don't understand where things go. And so yesterday, I put a lot of pressure on McGill's kid because we support nepotism around here vigorously.
Yeah.
And McGill's kid came in here and did he annoy everybody? Because you guys said he was talkative. All you said he was
Dan,
talkative.
I was sarcastic.
Dude, the guy didn't say a word all day.
Very quiet.
He was so nice.
I think he was too afraid to even ask me to do whatever he was doing.
Same exact thing. We had a thing where I was sitting there for like an hour and a half after we were done, and I was just kind of waiting around for him to just be like, okay, it's your turn now. And I saw him packing up all the equipment. I'm like, so, like, I will help with whatever you need. So then we came and did a thing, and then I felt like I was inconveniencing him because he unpacked some of his stuff to do the interview for the bit. But, like, I think he just didn't want to bother anyone to ask them for anything.
He bothered Tony. That was, but I think Tony
okay.
wanted to be bothered.
Lamar Smith against the Colts.
I was actually thinking of that one.
Sorry. So the fourth one's the most difficult. I've got Game 5 Jimmy Butler in the bubble.
It has to be here.
Game 6 LeBron at Boston saving the blueprint. Game 6 Josh Beckett at Yankee Stadium on short
There
rest.
has to be a non-championship edition, though, because championship games trump all the other ones, I think.
What about
like Leon Lett is a moment.
That is a moment. That's a different game. Yeah. Individual games with no stakes attached. LeBron while wearing the mask against the Charlotte Bobcats.
And then they banned the mask.
Remember?
Chris Chambers had 15 catches in a game in 05.
Not even close.
That's not up there with Lamar Smith.
No. Best play, Ray Allen, corner 3.
Wow. What about the
Best
Miami's
play.
last game when they had the perfect season? That was in Miami.
What about the
Right,
play
Greg?
where they didn't have a completely defeated season? Who was it that did the
Miracle?
Was it Camarillo?
Camarillo,
Oh,
yeah.
Former Greg Cody show host.
What was the bigger
guest?
What was the bigger play?
Didn't make the top 100.
Bigger individual play. Matthew Tkachuk at the death, sending the Florida Panthers into the Stanley Cup final
Against
and the
Hurricane.
Eastern Conference final to complete the sweep. Yeah, that's news to Rod Brendamore. I understand that.
Buzzer beater.
A buzzer beater at the death, or the Panthers just freezing the puck on the boards for like 13 seconds.
That was great. Yeah. That was terrific.
So which one are you going with?
I'll go with the board
Really?
puck.
Over
Yes.
Kachuk?
I think he got it.
That is an underrated
Guys.
play in hockey.
Guys,
Underrated.
But forgive me. I mean, did anyone mention, winning the World Series Game 7 in extra innings?
That's why it's different category.
going individual-
Championship category is
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
That's some of the best games that ever
things
happened
out.
down
Yeah.
here list.
But
doing
I thought that was
moments.
moments too, though. You've got the
There's a little duck
I feel like you're missing several orange bowls.
Yeah.
all of Marino is missing from here.
D.
going
Gordon's
for
home
2.
run also.
Nebraska failing for 2. Okay.
The win streak, right?
All of Marino is missing here.
Games, Emilio Bonifacio's opening day.
That was a great one.
I would
Billy.
put Marino's comeback.
You're really
game
good at this.
after
Thank
his
you.
Achilles
When you're trying to be
surgery.
helpful, like
I'm
you
always
contribute a lot.
Thank you. I think.
How about Bob's save? The
Bob
save that was
save.
Yeah,
immortalized
against
on
the
a
Lightning.
t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
The save.
The Bobbery.
Bob Save would be a
Bobbery.
great name for a closer.
Yeah, it would.
The
Good idea.
all of these the last that's excellent. Yes, everyone agrees with that. There is no
Someone with the
disagreement.
last name Save, get
Very
on that.
very simple. Yes, that's excellent work by you. Yes, if the closer comes out of the pen and his name is Bob Save, yes, that'd be a good name for a closer. Excellent work by both of you, working on the high end of the comedy ladder.
Al Closer.
That's
one's
better,
good
I think.
too. No,
Put it on the
go with
poll.
Bob Save.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Better name for your last reliever: Bob Save, Al Closer. Go ahead, have at it. I'm happy that Billy and Greg can work here, just shaving up that prime rim of comedy for what it is that we should name the closer.
So the Save surname is derived from Old French, so it'd have to be a Frenchman. Robert Save.
I always felt bad that there was I felt bad that there was a pitcher named Bob Walk. I thought that was unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's
Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's a terrible name for him to have. Bob Walk, I only remember him because that's a terrible name for him.
It's like if you're a quarterback, your name's Tommy Interceptions.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
the didn't the Reds have someone named Balfour?
Yeah.
Like ball 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Not good.
No, it's not. No,
Now strike 3. That's a good name for a
Yeah,
pitcher. Good last name.
That is good.
Jeff
High
strike
heat.
3. Mm-hmm.
High heat.
All right, so listen to this, okay? So Ron McGill's on with us now, and I want to play some animal video for him, but I am told this was a high degree of difficulty here. We put his son on some pressure, and this is unfair. It's not edited or anything. I would want someone to look at this. I would want somebody to apply our comedic sensibilities. I would want somebody, before it gets into our hands and we air it, for it to be sharpened. But now we have it, and it's just going to be Sean McGill representing our funny. I don't know how comfortable I am with that unedited.
Let's do a slow burn here. We're going to get to that in a few minutes. First, let's do the animal videos. Build up to this video with Sean.
Do you want to get Ron McGill involved in your top 4?
I have a top 4, yeah. Wow. This is a new top 4. The top 4 is called, Oh Man, You Saved Our Bacon.
Wow.
These are the top 4 Mount Rushmore nominees of sports performances down here in South Florida where, oh man, you saved our bacon.
Yeah.
So, number 4, LeBron Game 6 at Boston. Wow. He's now on multiple Rushmores. Congratulations to him.
That saved the blueprint.
It did.
Not just the bacon.
There are 3 better than that?
Number 2, Nigel Pack against Drake. People forget about the Final Four run. We almost didn't make it past Drake, but Nigel Pack saved our bacon.
People forget.
Pudge, the block at the plate.
The ball.
You saved our bacon. And then Ray Allen, you promptly saved our bacon. That was a big shot. Big shot.
Ray Allen. Come on, I
Big
was waiting
shot.
for that one.
Big shot.
Thank you, Ron.
Ron McGill joins us now, and I've been talking about this for years, and Ron has answered this question, but now we have video to show Ron, and it's a humpback whale. I'm not going to say swallowing a kayaker because that's not exactly the right word if it were swallowed, but I fear this all the time. This is just a mistake. You laugh, Ron. This doesn't seem funny. This is why I fear, that right there is why I fear the deep sea, because it's not a home field advantage for me.
Think about it, Dan. If we got that on film with you, you would be a multi-billionaire. That would have gotten so many hits. I mean, these people are famous now because this whale has made them famous. This whale said, you know what? I'm going to help you out. I know your dad's filming here. Let me give you something to film. Boom. Let that go viral. And now you're instant celebrities. Your life is cush for the rest of it.
Wait, so the person filming that is like related to the guy getting swallowed? We don't have the audio. Is it horrific? Is he like, oh no, son?
it's his father, and you'll notice as the whale grabs him, the camera doesn't even flinch. Doesn't even flinch.
It's a setup. Whale was in on it.
I don't know if it was a setup. I will tell you that it does demonstrate that it was a mistake. The whale realized it was a mistake and said, "Oh gosh, no, I don't want this," and spit him right out. So the guy kind of lived the Pinocchio dream there for just a few seconds.
Do you know of there ever being a death in that situation?
I do know there being a death with a kayaker. It was many years ago. That wasn't swallowed, but the whale breached on top of him, and unfortunately caused his death.
I'm afraid of that as well. If a whale breaches in the wrong spot and lands on you, that's not survivable, right?
I mean, it's survivable. Most people would tell you if a whale grabs you and puts you in his mouth and brings you underwater, that wouldn't be survivable either. And this guy yet swam away. So it's survivable, but it's certainly, going to be iffy.
I don't know if you guys have considered this, but with whale watching, I've always wondered, isn't that somewhat dangerous? Like if the whale breaches and decides to hit the boat, not that you would want, but when they're often breaching, aren't these things somewhat unpredictable?
Yes and no. Dan, they're incredibly intelligent animals. They are aware of their surroundings. A whale could possibly get carried away because sometimes they breach in sequence, 1, 2, 3, and they're enjoying it so much, and for whatever reason they're doing it, that they don't realize, the third one, there's a kayaker there, or there's a boat there. We've seen that happen on a couple of occasions. It is extremely rare, though, Dan. Think of many times, millions and millions of times that people have gone out whale watching through the decades, and that's, maybe happened a handful of times. Again, put it in perspective. You're much more in danger of driving your car home by being smashed by another car than you are being smashed by a whale while whale watching.
This segment is presented by LinkedIn Jobs. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. Terms and conditions apply.
We are waiting for this Sean McGill video. Ron, how do you feel about all of this? This is kind of a bad spot I'm putting you in by making you judge.
It kind of is, Dan. It kind of is. I mean, I'm his dad first more than anything. I'll try to give you an honest opinion. I think he's a gifted artist. I think he can do things very well, and hopefully he did so for you here. But I'm sure he was a little nervous. I mean, going out and shooting this very momentous occasion, which was, historic in a sense. And here you got this guy doing his rookie shoot for the Dan Le Batard Show, which is, it's like getting to the top of the mountain and then all of a sudden you fall off. You don't want to do that. So we'll see what happens, but I have confidence that he can do a good job. I know what he's capable of. He's helped me win multiple awards in some of the videos that he's done for me. So hopefully he's done the same for you. But again, I'm nervous. I'm a little apprehensive. I'm hoping for the best as my son, but at the same time, he's got to come up to the plate and produce or bye-bye.
You're also doing this to Ron on a very special day. Ron, I want to be the first to wish you and your wife, Rhonda, a happy anniversary.
My wife's name is Rita.
Oh.
And it is a happy anniversary. Thank you so much. 36 years. That feels like it was just yesterday. Why are you guys laughing? What kind of cynical screw up did you guys do back there?
He called Rita.
It was an honest mistake.
He
Ron.
called Rita Rhonda.
It was a mistake.
How heartfelt is how?
I'm the only one that's wished him a happy anniversary here, just for the record.
Yeah, but you
actually, the entire Le Batard Show did it online,
Yeah,
which
but
I was very flattered by and very moved by. I didn't think they would ever pay attention to anything about me, but this was a very moving thing to see the little happy anniversary from the Dan Le Batard Show on Twitter, or whatever they call it now.
On a brighter note, Ron, how often do people's pets eat them when they die?
Yeah.
Not very often.
Like dogs are domesticated, right? So like they don't have a taste for human flesh. Or if you were a hungry dog, would you just naturally go towards the dead body in your home if your owner died?
If you're going to starve, it's certainly a possibility. I mean, we've known humans that have done that. Think about those poor soccer players up in the Andes. If it's a matter of life and death, and the death is, you eating it is not going to do anything negative towards eating it, and it might possibly save your life, then that makes a big difference. Yes, I don't think it's impossible to think that a dog would do that if it was starving, and especially if the person has been dead for a while, because that decaying process makes it more palatable for something like a dog.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Would Willow eat Jessica if Jessica died near her?
Wow.
At Le Batard Show.
What kind of dog is Willow?
She's actually a rescue from Puerto Rico. Wow. She's like a mix of a bunch of different dogs because there's a lot of stray dogs
Jessica.
there. Yeah.
God bless you. That tells me a lot about you. God bless you.
God bless you, Ron. We're gonna have a God bless off.
God bless football.
Ron, I just want to stop you for just a second here. Camera, please just zone in here on Greg Cody's face, please. Get real close on Greg Cody's face, okay?
Please don't.
Greg, no, there's a reason I'm doing this because
You look tan, Greg.
Thank
you. You look tan.
It's called makeup.
He looks more embalmed than tan, I would say. But I want a close up on Greg Cody's face for this reason, okay? I want you to simply make the natural face that I just saw you make when Ron McGill referred to what I did last night at that hockey game as a momentous occasion, historic in a sense.
I can't recall what face I made, but it had to be one filled with incredulous wonder that you would place Le Batard clowning himself in front of America among a momentous occasion. It just... he'll never live it down.
So you're not going to make the face. Thanks.
I don't know what face I made. You know, who catalogs
Beating
their
the
face?
drum, that's a privilege. That's
Is
an
it?
honor.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For a
Huge
journalist?
honor.
For a
Ron, you
journalist?
should do that. Have you been asked?
No.
Yeah,
These
Ron
are the
should do
Stanley Cup champions, man.
Yo,
you know,
you're in the Arbiters Hall of Fame. They should. I can't believe you haven't been asked to bang the drum slowly. You know, and you would have no moral qualms about it like he should have had. That guy, former journalist, literally cheerleading for the Florida Panthers. He'll never live it down.
Dolphin Danny, some are saying.
Dolphin Danny, exactly. Wearing a big funny orange hat
I
with
asked
sequins
them,
on it.
I legitimately asked them to introduce me as...
Pan Fan Dan.
Did they give you the jersey, Dan? Did you get to keep the jersey?
I did.
Wow.
I
That's
asked
nice.
them to introduce me as and former journalist and alleged journalist. Either one of those. They would not.
Yeah.
They did not. Momentous, historic in a sense, says Ron
You know,
McGill.
that false attempt at dimming your legacy is very transparent.
Ron,
man.
the honor was that my parents were born in another country. That's what the honor was. I didn't do much of anything.
No, but you're of repute.
No, it's just being Hispanic. Ron, you're next. When next time they need a Hispanic person.
For Vamos Gatos night, that's only once a year.
Yeah.
All right. So next year, I mean, who would you nominate locally in terms
Ron
of...
McGill's up there. Ron McGill's a luminary. A Latin
I love that
luminary.
picture behind Mike there. That picture's intense. That's a great shot.
After Ron, Strahan.
I would have done Don Francisco if he's still around. He's still
He
here.
is.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not do
Chilean,
him?
right?
I know, but
Yeah.
sometimes he commutes back and forth unless he stopped doing that.
Fly him over.
Mike,
No,
I
he's here.
know.
Big breaking NBA news. Kyrie Irving has torn his ACL. It is not going well for the Dallas Mavericks.
Who just raised ticket prices.
They did.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
It's gone as bad as you could possibly imagine in the last month and a half.
Thank
Meanwhile,
you,
the Lakers
Nico.
are surging.
I want to do this here now with Ron, even though it is awkward, okay? We have not edited it. We have not seen it. But Sean McGill has done the nearly impossible. In the last 24 hours, he has quickly turned something around. We will all watch it together here, and then Ron McGill will give us his honest assessment. This is a pressurized moment for you, Ron. This is...
I'm not comfortable with it at all, Dan. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not comfortable with it at all.
This is terrible, what I've done, but I am not a shit stirrer. Let me see what we have here. Greg, please don't do that. We're on the air. Thank you, professional broadcaster.
Mike, you
Professional
can't say it
cheerleader.
doesn't feel like pandering. It feels like pandering. It's just a Hispanic night they're having, and they need somebody Hispanic.
Don't think of it as pandering. Think of it as panthering. Don't pander. Panther. Look, I understand that this is breaking you apart, but this is nothing but an honor.
Greg Cody is right when he says he'll be able to make fun of me for all time as being more of a homer than him. He's not wrong about that.
Is this how you go about every decision? Do you overthink everything like this? And why'd you tell me to pretend like he's not here? You gave me a microphone.
I'm scared of this. I don't want to do any of this. I think it's something that's going to go very poorly for me rhythmically. I trust you.
I think Dan is really overthinking this. I mean, it's not that much of a big deal. I mean, he's representing the show. He's trying to build a relationship with the Panthers. And besides, if anything goes wrong for me here, I got a back door in with the team.
I don't totally know if this is an HR violation or not, but I kind of want to bring anarchy to these proceedings. So I do think it will be funny if at the last minute we swap out Cuban-born Dan Le Batard for Cuban-born stunt double Danny.
Cuban born
I want to ask him how he got here.
Is your Spanish any good?
It's stunt Spanish.
Vamos, gatos.
And that was pretty good.
You do it now.
All right.
You do it.
Vamos, gatos.
Do you speak Spanish?
Try to.
Would you be willing to do that, even though I think it's a conflict, and I wouldn't tell Human Resources about this because I'm putting you in a bad spot?
I mean, we got to do what we got to do.
I think Dan struggles from a little bit of performance anxiety if it's not exactly on his terms. So as we saw from the Coca-Cola video, if you haven't seen it, it's embarrassing. We had one guy clap. He's not much of like, he doesn't incite enthusiasm. Dan is more of like a fly under the radar, kind of keep it cool, keep it casual. When it comes to firing up 20,000 fans at a stadium, I don't know if he's 100% built to do that. So his performance is going to be subpar. He's going to he's going to want it to be good, but I don't think it's going to be good.
They asked if I'd go, and I said maybe, and then I got torn because of the journalism of it.
Right, yeah. No, that's a double-edged sword for you. I get that.
Dan's journalistic integrity. I mean, I think that's been gone for a while. I think the moment his journalistic integrity ended was when he came out in a Speedo that one time at the Clevelander with Charles Barkley. I think that's where it probably died, if you want me to be honest. So it's been a long time since he's had any journalistic integrity. Respect to him, though.
Roy, do you have any opinions on how this is going to go tonight?
It's going to be interesting. Oh, yeah, if he does this, he's going to be a sellout. That's what everybody's going to say. And it pays more to be a sellout than it is to be an actual journalist. So maybe he should give up on that.
What you're doing here is you are abdicating the last vestige of your journalism integrity by not only figuratively, but literally cheerleading for one of the local teams. You might as well be on the payroll.
I don't think he's thought of as a journalist per se. He's a former journalist who's now in the business of entertaining on a famously famous popular podcast. And I think it's a long time ago that he wrote for the Miami Herald. And, I don't know. It's not like people are going to go, wow, he's a journalist banging the drum for the Panthers. I don't think anybody thinks that. They just think, hey, he's another one of these famous guys they got to bang the drum.
I'm trying to figure out if I can do this, if I can thread the needle on making this something that is fun and funny and makes fun of the idea of that. Dan's selling out his journalism career here, but he's doing it with a wink. I don't think we can thread that needle.
Oh, he has to go through with it. If you already brought it up, I'm gonna make him go through with it. He has to. If not, I'll do it. I'll go there and I'll do the drums.
I think Dan overthinks everything. He doesn't make a decision on his own. He also doesn't follow the sport. If he followed the sport and these defending Stanley Cup champions, he would know that this is a huge honor, that they don't just do this before every game, that, as best I know, he was really high up top their list. It's nothing but an honor.
Dan is up there. He's definitely in like the top 10. I mean, I'm guessing maybe like, I don't know, Jose Canseco is too busy, or like Gloria Estefan had something to do. Andy Garcia, who we had on the show or on South Beach Sessions, was filming or something. Jamaican Paul's probably busy. Yeah, I mean, Dan is like top 15 for sure. The guy that created Ila Canaria could probably do it. The lady that works at Cafecito at Sergio's, he's definitely top 20 for sure.
I think he should be fine, but he also seemed kind of nervous about it. Like he was definitely getting in his own head about what it is that he has to do today. I don't know why. He's making it seem like it's a burden and he doesn't want to do it. I don't know if he wants us to like beg him to do it or be like, yeah, you really have to do it. But like, this is a cool thing. And for some reason, he's making it seem like this is a chore for him. I don't quite understand it.
The Panthers are honoring me by charging 4 of my employees $37 plus service tax to come watch me bang a drum. I don't know how much that service tax is for, and I don't know how far away from me they're going to be with $37 seats as champions. Will they even be able to see where I am?
This might just be a negotiation for him. So like he's not thrilled that he only got 4 tickets, so he's pretending to not want to do it So then they come back and give them a suite, and then everything will be fine. It may be.
They're not going to be able to see me.
If they squint hard enough, yes.
If we pay $37 plus service,
Which is a
tax,
great fee, actually.
it is pretty
$37
good.
is not bad.
It's a pretty good deal
For
to get
Stanley Cup winners, I mean.
I know, to get in the building, it is a pretty good fee, but they don't want to pay anything.
What should be more valuable to you? 4 tickets in an exclusive suite or 20, 25 people in a regular suite?
4 tickets in the exclusive
You think
suite.
so?
Yeah,
Okay.
because then you're there with luminaries. You're there with like owners potentially.
But
In a
you're not
suite,
there-
you're just
not
having.
there with your friends from the show.
No, but who wants to be with Ethan having chicken tenders when you could be with like Vinny Viola?
If I go tonight,
okay,
there is no chance that I get any employees to come support me during this great honor other than 2 employees. I will have any 2 employees I want for 2 tickets, but no other employees will come unless they get the 2 tickets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let me explain to you how exclusive this place is that we're in. My wife is just told that they only have 30 members that are allowed in this speakeasy. And in order to get in, they give you an actual cat's paw. Yeah. Immediately freshly cut off of a human cat.
A human cat?
I'm sorry, a live cat, not a human cat. That would
We
be
do
totally
treat our
different.
cats like humans.
A live cat. A live cat. I did not mean a human cat. And in order to get in here, the fob, if there was a little blood on it, we had to put a cat's paw up to a device, and then it let us in to a world of free shrimp and salmon. This is Lauren. This is my teacher here. My wife, God bless her, just said, "Is this the drum you're going to be using tonight?" She just asked me, "Is this the actual drum?" I think it's a little larger than this. Let's go. Show me how to do it.
All right, so you're basically starting the Let's Go Panthers chant. We're gonna imagine this is the large drum. Let's go Panthers.
So who's saying "Let's go Panthers"?
The crowd.
Okay, so they're going to be cued. I don't have to do it with
So
them.
you're starting it. So
Okay.
once we are going live on camera, I'm gonna tell you to turn around. The minute you turn around, you start banging the drum.
Okay, and how many times do I do
You
it?
do it up to 3 to 4 times.
All right.
If the crowd is really going, 5.
All right, so if I've succeeded if I get them to 5. All right, ready?
Ready?
No, that's not the right way to do it. You're going to give me my cue, and I'm just going to go.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers.
I want you right next to me. No one's ever been as ready for this as I am. She asked me the whole way here, explain the honor to me. All 4 hours trying to get here. And I'm like, well, I'm going to beat on a drum. And as far as honors go, I said to her on the way, it's kind of an honor, but it's also an obligation. And so she called it, in honor of Chris Cody, an honorabligation.
I call it an honorgation.
An honorgation? An honorgation. I like honorabligation, but she's good at correcting me. This is very nice what the Panthers have done for me. They've put my name on it. That ensures that I will never, ever wear it outside. And frankly, if I'm being honest, I don't want to say this to anybody out loud because they've been very kind. I will never wear this jersey. I am not someone who has ever in my life as an adult worn a jersey like this and don't have a childhood memory that involves wearing a jersey like this. This will never get worn by me. I'm a professional journalist.
Please welcome Generation Cupid, Miami native, radio podcast and host, Dan Le Batard.
has an official announcement that he'd like to make here in the speakeasy of the Panthers VIP area.
Yeah, March 3rd, 2025, the day that journalism died.
That's it.
Over.
It's over right here.
He's laid down his sword.
That's it.
Dan Quixote has finally
That's
rested.
it. Has sold his soul in order to beat on a drum for 7 seconds. Sold my entire career.
It was well worth it.
It was. It was worth it.
So cool.
I'm mortified by much of that there. So have at it, Greg. Go ahead.
It was a great video.
Hell of an edit.
It was a great video. I'm going to say that. The production, the interviews were all great. A lot of me got left on the cutting room floor. Not a great decision there. But, like I keep saying, you did, you dug your own grave. People will never forget the image of you in a Panthers jersey banging a drum. And, but you wanted that. You embraced it.
Not really. I don't feel like I've embraced it.
It was a soft embrace.
I don't feel like I've embraced it. Ron, what is your final assessment? I'm a bad judge on this because it cuts a little close to the bone. I'm embarrassed by much of what is on there. So,
which in itself is what makes it good. If it cuts you to the bone, it makes it good. Now, on a technical aspect, there were a couple of focus issues I had there with it, but I noticed the focus issues were just on you, and I also, that crap that they do zooming in and out, that seems to be a new thing with this new generation, but it also was done with you, and it seemed to show the chaos going on in your brain at the time. So from an introspective perspective, I think that's probably what he's trying to translate there, is that when we're on Dan's confused here. He's not focused. He doesn't know what he's thinking about. Whereas the great interviews with Tony and with Mike and with Greg and with Roy, those are solid interviews. The camera's still solid. They're very confident. Every time we were going to you, and the whole thing about you talking to the makeup person all over you, oh God, I love that. That was very special.
I thought the highlight was an apparently drunk Dan Le Batard referring to a human cat. That's just, it will never get better than that.
That did work out really well. And quite frankly, Dan, as a musician myself, your beating of the drum sucked.
Yeah.
Please,
wow.
please
it was
go
way
ahead.
off, Dan. You're like, it looked like you were having like a seizure. It wasn't in rhythm.
Yeah.
It was. You didn't wait for them to finish saying "Let's go Panthers." They would go "Let's go Panthers."
Yeah, too quick.
Come on, Dan.
Yeah, no Meg White, I tell you that.
Ron, you're the first person. They were very gentle with me, talking about how proud they were, but it's at least in part because they had very low expectations for me, as I did for myself. So I exceeded very low expectations, but I don't think you're wrong. I don't think it was very good.
Your rhythm was not what it should have been. You looked angry. Your eyes were angry, beating at the Panther instead of smiling and happy and joyous because we're about to go out there and win this. And then I love the end of the screen where you kind of voice cracked and kind of. Yeah, that was good. I like that.
There is a really cute moment, and it's right after your first couple of strikes of the drum, because you're worried that people aren't going to recognize you, people aren't going to be into what you're doing.
They're going to boo.
So you, after your first bum, 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 you look up and you hear the crowd say, "Let's go Panthers," and you give like a quick scan, and then you get really into it. It's really cute.
That's why your second one was your worst, because you got like lost in the moment briefly.
You're like, oh man.
The second one really kind of was terrible. It was off key. And the other thing.
Okay, yes, please, Ron.
Weren't you supposed to yell "Let's go Panthers" before you beat the drum first? That's what I thought the direction was that she gave you in the speakeasy.
No. In the speakeasy, she said you hit it first, and then they'll say "Let's go Panthers." But he's unsure about this, how that workflow goes. So after he hits the drum the first time, he's vulnerable as he's been, and he looks directly in front of him, sees people going "Let's go Panthers." He scans. It's really cute. Look at this moment right here. It's working. They're into it.
And then he's totally off rhythm when he beats the drum.
All right, enough. You forced that fifth round as well. You forced that fifth round.
No, he was told.
I know, but by then the Let's Go Panthers was petering out. It became sad at the end, if I'm being very honest.
That's like Carson inviting the comic to the desk. He got blessed. Like, go ahead, go for 5. That means what he was doing was cooking.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I got to tell you, the video I thought was really good. I thought it was very reflective of what the show is. The guys did great interviews.
Yeah, Sean did a great job. One note for you as a parent, though, very mouthy kid.
See you later, Ron. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.